Welcome to week 4 of the Dream Season, presented by American Family Insurance. Alongside Mike Lucas, I'm Matt LePay, and our matchup for this week, it's a fun one. We turn back the clock to 1998. Under the lights, Camp Randall Stadium, homecoming. The Wisconsin Badgers and the Purdue Boilermakers. The Badgers, Luke, went into this game undefeated, and this was an intriguing matchup, even if you didn't have a dog in the fight here, because you have a serious case of contrasting styles.
Very true. The year before, Joe Tiller's first season as a head coach at Purdue, he unleashed his basketball on grass to all the teams in the conference, and the Badgers got burned big time in West Lafayette. They couldn't stop the offense. They trailed by 21 points in the first 10 minutes of the game. So there was definitely a payback in this contrast of styles. But both teams went into it with a game plan. The defensive coordinators, Brocksback for Purdue, decided to add a defensive lineman, take out a DB. Kevin Cosgrove for Wisconsin decided to add a DB and take out a linebacker. So you saw that gamesmanship throughout the game itself.
It sets up to be a wild game, as a matter of fact. The Badgers and the Purdue Boilermakers. Let's check out the starting lineups for this 1998 matchup between Wisconsin and Purdue. Starting lineups presented by U.S. Bank. And, Mike, you look at this lineup, a couple of names clearly with Purdue will stand out. Defensively, Roosevelt Colvin, very good rush in, caused a lot of problems across the Big Ten. And that quarterback for Purdue, I think the name is very familiar, Drew Brees, starting to emerge in 1998.
And he had a breakout game the week before against Minnesota where he threw for like 522 yards, completed 31 of 36 passes, and 6 touchdowns, and completed passes to 10 different receivers. So when you talk to Barry Alvarez leading up to the Boilermakers game at Camp Randall, he said he had just gotten through watching a horror film, the game replay of Minnesota versus Purdue and Drew Brees.
And as we look at that Badgers starting lineup defensively, as you mentioned, they take out a linebacker, they add a DB, but some very familiar names there in the secondary. And then up front, guys like Tom Burke, who was just a one-man wrecking crew in 1998.
And the thing that really pained Tom Burke in this game was the quick release by Drew Brees, because Brees was not going to hold on to the football. They were not going to try to go deep on Wisconsin, knowing that Brees didn't have a whole lot of time with Burke coming off the edge.
And then offensively, the Badgers a bit different in how they went about their business as opposed to the Boilermakers. You have Ron Dayne, and you have an offensive line that really, and then you add the following year Mark Tauscher for Aaron Gibson at right tackle. But that group up front, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, it was an O-line that was just starting to mature, and you still had the gamer at QB and Mike Samuel, who continued to use his feet to his advantage by picking up key first downs and scoring. Samuel posed a threat to every defense. You had to account for him first as a runner beyond being a passer.
All right, those are your lineups. The stage is set. The kickoff is next.
flavor by such bands as Brian Setzer and the Big Band Voodoo Daddies. It still stems from sounds made by Count Basie, Fletcher Henderson, Benny Goodman, and Louis Jordan. With dancers provided by Dance Sport of Madison, we feature our percussion section in the hit by the Cherry Poppin' Daddies, Zoot Suit Riot.
they better get season tickets right now, because before long, they probably won't be able to.
Doubles into the end zone! Wisconsin wins the Rose Bowl!
Big Ten champion.
Ron Dayne down the left sideline.
And there it is. You do not want him in your secondary.
Back-to-back Rose Bowl champions.
Matt Shaver to Lee Evans.
Ball is loose. Badgers have it.
And this game is underway with a bang.
And the Wisconsin Badgers are Big Ten champions.
Waiting for the kickoff from the Boilermakers. Button gets into it. And the short one. Fielded and covered. Taken in at the 35, where Wisconsin will start out in great field position. Mike Samuel likes to run the option, only averages 13 passes a game. Dayne in the backfield along with Cecil Martin, who's got to be unselfish at fullback. He rarely touches the ball. Davis, who we saw back deep, home run threat along with Chris Chambers. So the big tight end, 6'8", 275, Dag Retzlaff. And up front, 107 starts combined for McIntosh, Ferrario, Raybach, Costa, and the huge one, Aaron Gibson.
We wanted to be like the 94 line. I was recruited to come here, and that was my goal, is to be just like Joe Panos or Joe Rudolph. When that line came together, though, Aaron Gibson, myself at tackles, Casey Raybach at center, Dave Costa, Bill Ferrario, every one of us went on to play in the NFL. We had taken our lumps early on in the previous year, but that year is when everything just started to hit on all cylinders, and it came to fruition. The line played well, and as such, there's this guy named Ron Dayne in the backfield that had a pretty good year of it as well.
First down.
Albert Davis did return 168 yards already this year. Joe Tiller in his second season, 12-5 over the first season and a half. O'Keefer, Mitrione, Nugent, and Colvin. O'Keefer and Colvin, the playmakers at the end positions. Lorzell, his second consecutive start, second of his career. Fells and Rose. Fells, their leading tackler. And in the secondary, Bell and Austin, the corners. Gustin and Beasley, the safeties. Movement again. Samuel is saying that the left guard, Ferrario, lifted up.
Something early on here that you might want to pay attention to at home. There is a definite size advantage on the part of Wisconsin. And what's going to have to happen?
Prior to the snap, full start on the offense, 5 yards, first down.
What's going to happen for the Purdue front seven is that they're going to have to outquick Wisconsin, because between the tackles, there's an average of somewhere between 30-40 pounds a man dominant for Wisconsin. So that's the reason why you're seeing some of the early movement by Purdue.
Barry Alvarez in his 9th season. They won their only New Year's Day bowl game. New Year's Day, 1994. The Rose Bowl victory. And Alvarez leading them in that victory over UCLA. Chambers, the motion man, on 1st and 15 from the 35. Dayne getting the 5 back after the mark off on the left guard Ferrario. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 40-yard line. And actually, it's going to be 2nd and 5 from the 40-yard line after that previous mark off and the offside. Austin collapsing on Dayne, but Dayne is a huge story at 253. The ankle has bothered him. He missed the very first game of the year because of the injury. But he's trimmed down. And they say his weight still fluctuates, though. They have to stay on top of the situation. In the eye, Martin in front of Dayne. Chambers again the motion man on 2nd and 5. Not much available behind that huge offensive line. 3rd biggest offensive line in the country is Willie Fells. Got the running back first, the middle linebacker. Gibson, top heavy at 6'7", 370, 375, the senior from Indianapolis. He is the only senior on the offensive line, though.
Fells is the man there, Joel. He has to have a great game. I'm talking with Brock Spack, defensive coordinator for Purdue. I said, who has to have a great game for you? And he said, absolutely Fells. He has to make the plays in the interior. Can't let Dayne get on track to a 150, 200-yard game.
3rd and 4, just shy of the 41. And the Wisconsin take advantage of the great field position. No. Big hit in the backfield. Was it Colvin? Yes, Roosevelt Colvin, the right end, the senior from Indianapolis.
Well, Colvin is their big sack guy with 5 coming into this game, and he just mows past the left tackle. Gibson manhandles O'Keefe on the one side, but on the other side, McIntosh just had all he could handle with Colvin, who did the outside in move and gets to the quarterback in a short period of time.
Austin waiting for the punt from Stemke, who has got a 41-yard average. To Wampler, high one though, coming up. Austin doesn't call for fair catch, and is put down at the 26. And Dante King first one down there after the 41-yard punt. Offensively, for the basketball attack on grass, Brees, the record-setting quarterback, leads the Big Ten, better than 1,500 yards over the first 5 games. Crabtree doesn't handle it all that often. Tight end is Randolph, Jones, Cox, and Lane, with 3 starting wideouts. And then up front, Light, Cone, Negret, McCoby, and Gorin. Not a huge group, but a very quick group. And it's usually a 3-step drop anyway for that group, for the quarterback, so they don't have to protect guys long.
This is not what Wisconsin wanted, Joel. They wanted to do something with that field position.
Purdue scored on the first possession in 4 of the first 5 games. Moving the pocket like they love to. Brees has his man deep downfield, and a call down. Randall Lane, the junior from Simeon High School in Chicago. Defensively, the bookends make it all happen. Favre and Burke. Burke leads the Big Ten, 8 sacks, 15 tackles behind the line. Favre's got 5 sacks as well. Pelagi and Janik, the 2 in the middle, and the front 4 for the Badgers. Thompson, a great story. Walk-on, grew up a couple of blocks away from the ballpark. Knight and Adamov. And in the secondary, the cornerbacks are redshirt freshmen. So will Brees be able to exploit Eccles and Fletcher from St. Louis? Dorian's a sophomore. Taylor is the only senior in the defensive backfield. 2nd and 10. Cox into the lineup. 4 wide receivers set. Crabtree across the 30. A little more than 4 for Jay Crabtree, the junior from Wichita.
Not very effective in the running game this season. Last year they averaged 174 yards a game, which really is surprising considering, as you pointed out, they're a team that wants people to defend the field. They are a throwing team. This year they've struggled, only a little less than 120 yards per game, and Joe Tiller is certainly concerned about that. But again, what he wants to do more often than not is get the ball in Drew Brees' hands and make things happen. As you see the numbers right there, that is significant.
Not quite 120 a game as opposed to last year. 174. 2 wide receivers to each side for Brees out of the shotgun in the crossing pattern. Instead goes to the wideout. It's complete for the first down to Chris Daniels. He had the crossing pattern. He had a couple of routes available. That's good for 12 yards and a first down.
One of the things that the corners for Wisconsin did last week, even on a wet field, was they're back 9-10 yards. Purdue does not have blazers at wide receiver, but they do run precise routes. And if they're going to continue to give the cushion, then the quarterback's certainly going to take advantage of it.
Joe Tiller told us a couple of days ago that Brees has total awareness of the field. And he hasn't been around a guy that spreads the ball around like everybody. He likes everybody in the pattern. Doesn't have a go-to guy. Crabtree on the first down carry. A little more than 3 to the 45-yard line.
Joel, what this does is it keeps the front 4 honest. And as long as they can't quite knuckle and come up the field, that's going to buy Brees that much more time to sit and look at his 4 or 5 receivers in the pattern. So you look at some of these plays, they're seemingly innocuous, but they pay dividends later on in the game.
The test for Cosgrove, Kevin Cosgrove, the defensive coordinator, linebackers coach as well for Wisconsin, meeting with him yesterday. Very apprehensive about talking about what they wanted to do because they said you open 4-2-5.
Good choice of words, apprehensive. I would have said scared.
Trips over to the far side. They get to the marker. Isaac Jones on the reception, the senior from Wallingford, Pennsylvania, just short of the first down on 2nd and long.
Good gang tackling there, Joel. But once again, a situation where you've got the Wisconsin secondary back on their heels, and Drew Brees here, very dangerous, 3rd and about 2.5, because he's got a lot of options here.
Adamov got over there quickly. The outside backer from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. 3rd season as a starter. And now 3rd, a little more than 2, almost 3. Just about 5 minutes into the game. This is already a long drive, time-wise, by Purdue standards. They don't hang over it too long. Brees, 3-step drop. And available over the middle and dropped. He had Isaac Jones. That should have been a conversion on 3rd and a couple, but he didn't get it.
The idea was to get the short slant, and he wasn't quite able to do it. His timing was up. Take a look. He wants to throw right now, but he double clutches, still has plenty of time, waits a little bit. There's the ball. That's a very catchable ball. That ball has to be caught. That's a good adjustment on the part of Brees, and even though the timing was skewed a little bit, he's got to come up with that one.
pass throw to get it past that linebacker, Dorsey at the same time. Roscoe waiting for the punt from Danny Rogers. They already have a block this year. Over the head of Roscoe. Would it die? No. So when we come back, Wisconsin offensively has it for the second time this evening. We'll be back at their own 20-yard line. Scoreless so far in Madison.
The Wisconsin football dream season is presented by American Family Insurance. A special thanks to American Family Insurance for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Some see a grilled cheese sandwich and ask why. I see a new kitchen with a grill and ask why not.
I really need to start adding less to cart and more to savings.
Sitting on this couch so long made me want to make some changes, starting with this couch.
Yeah, I need a house with a different view. And this is the bank that will help you do it all. Because at U.S. Bank, our people are dedicated to turning your new inspiration into your next pursuit.
Joining us from Shell Lake is Gavin Timms, today's Badger Kid presented by Odyssey Brands. Want to be a Badger Kid at a future game? Visit uwbadgers.com/BadgerKid and sign up your child today. A special thanks to Odyssey Brands for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Odyssey Brands and the Wisconsin Badgers are teaming up this dream season to once again present the Odyssey Badger Kid program. Enter your favorite junior Badger fan for a chance to win recognition during our Wisconsin Dream Season broadcasts and a commemorative Badger Kid prize pack courtesy of Odyssey Brands. Enter today at uwbadgers.com/BadgerKid. Odyssey Brands are proud to say made in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Find game day inspired appetizers, sides, and main dishes at odysseybrands.com.
Welcome back once again to Madison, a major development. Purdue did not score their opening possession for only the second time over the first 6 games this year. And now Wisconsin huddling on the sideline, ready for their second offensive series in this scoreless affair. 5 minutes in. Homecoming in the place that we love to call Madtown. Jam-packed, better than 75,000 strong. One wide receiver to each side for Mike Samuel with Ron Dayne in the backfield. Moving the pocket as well for Samuel. And the wide receiver's out of bounds as he took it in.
The Wisconsin Department of Transportation reminds you to always drive sober. Zero in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Get the Drive Sober app today.
Rarely 100% healthy, and he's not 100% healthy again tonight. I saw him practice Thursday, and the trainers told me he was between 90 and 95% healthy at the time. He has a sprained ligament on top of his right ankle. He can move straight ahead pretty well, but he can't move right or left as well, can't accelerate. And Todd, he's not good on bottoms of piles because that's where those ankles get dinged up. I guess no one has fun on bottom of piles, though.
No doubt, but I'm curious as to how they're able to diagnose 90 to 95%. What exactly does that mean, Joel?
Which slice of the pile or pie? Dayne sliced down early that time by Lee Johnson, the weak side linebacker. Some have said, granted, he may have an ankle that's tweaked a little bit, but others have also said that he's always tried to carry a little bit too much weight on that ankle throughout his career here at Wisconsin.
Well, people forget that once again, you know what? They compare him a lot to Fuamato Ma'afala, the Utah fullback of a similar physique, and he too had injury problems because of the weight. Take a look at the end of the play here. The tackles, take a look at the ankle. Ouch.
Brand new turf here in Madison. So now 3rd and long, 3rd cut at 9, just outside of the 21. Samuel out of the shotgun, blitz coming from the corner, and he goes down, avoiding the corner blitz from Billy Gustin. Getting him down low, it was Colvin with his 2nd sack already.
Well, Colvin is really causing some problems, and a lot of that is his quickness. Look at the upfield. This time he does the arm under and is able to get there. Great job of balance on the part of Colvin. So many times you see the arm under and the slip and the guy goes down. Instead, he's able to maintain enough of his balance to get in and sack Samuel. That's 2 sacks already, Joel. They might have to consider chipping him from time to time with the tight end, or even having a guard come out to help.
Stempke bunting away to Austin once again, and a beauty at that. Austin backpedaling, loses it at the 33. And not much available after that, only to the 37. Ball came loose, but they're saying he was already down out the 37-yard line. Lasowski, the reserve outside linebacker, down there first after the 53-yard punt by Kevin Stempke, the sophomore. from Green Bay.
The kicking teams for Wisconsin have been outstanding. In fact, Coach Alvarez pointed out the fact that this is without a doubt the best special teams he has had in his tenure at Wisconsin. You can see it there in the coverage. An awful lot of red shirts down to help themselves out because they were, Joel, in poor field position.
With the pressure back on the defensive unit of the Badgers. Brees back into offense. Alvarez in his 9th year, 4 bowl games over the last 5 years. They've won 3 of those 4. He's taking them. And they raised the bar here, in fact. Never had this kind of success as Brees has his wide out available. It's complete to A.T. Simpson. True freshman out of Cathedral High School in Indianapolis. He's gone to 13 different receivers this year. And when I was talking about Tiller, he said he's never seen a quarterback that had spread it around. He said so many guys lock on a primary that they love, and they fall in love with one guy. But that's not the case for Drew Brees.
The last couple of years, young Alford is the man who had made all the catches for Purdue. And really, a lot of that, Joel, is because there hasn't been a receiver to step up to be the go-to guy. But the one good thing about it, when you spread it around, everybody stays interested. People run all of their decoy routes hard as a result.
Crabtree running into Burke, who altered the play on the end. Put it back into the flow in the pursuit. Kalaji made the stop, the sophomore from Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
I'm surprised they're running as much as they are this early. I would have thought that because of their success last week, you'd think they'd be airing it out. And as you pointed out with freshman corners, the pressure, but the tendency would be to want to throw every down. And that man right there is certainly not afraid to.
So 3rd and short, close to a 3 needed. Inside of 8 minutes left in this first quarter. One of the highest scoring teams in the nation. Looking for their first points, the Boilermakers. And Brees is automatizing. The cookies available. He's got a first down to Randall Lane. There is always going to be a little bit of a cushion on the corner, and that's basically the philosophy for the Badgers of Wisconsin.
And what a great job by the inside receiver in front of Lane to run his defender off, and that creates a lane for Brees to throw the ball out to him. This is an excellent job. Great coordination on the part of the wide receivers for Purdue in affording the chance to make the completion. It's not always just about the quarterback or the one receiver. The other people are doing their job.
An easy win over Minnesota last Saturday. Brees set school marks for passing with 522 yards and touchdown tosses with 6 scores. He's 3 of 5 thus far. First and 10. Ball to the 49. Crabtree, can he get to the outside? Yes, good yardage for Crabtree. His best run of the night. He's got another first down, dragged down from behind near the 35 of the Badgers.
Let me say it right here. Mike Adamle, Iron Man, he completed it in his 49th year of life. Unbelievable. 14 hours. You the man, Mike, you the man.
First and 10. Going down to get it. The wide receiver. It's complete again to Randall Lane. He's got 3 grabs already. And it's close to another first down. He got about 8 on first and 10.
Well, you mentioned that he doesn't have a go-to guy, but Lane has been so far in the first 2 drives. Good plant, gets the outside. That's a nice catch there. That ball should have thrown a little bit closer between the 8 and the 4, but Lane able to get down and make the catch.
Junior college All-American, a first teamer last year, caught 69 at LA Valley Junior College out in the San Fernando Valley. 2nd and 2 for the Boilermakers. Crabtree trying to pick up the 2. Burke grabs it right at the original line. He got a yard. Down to the 27. Needs to take it inside the 26. It'll be 3rd and 1 from there. And Burke, a great story. The senior from Poplar, Wisconsin. He's the MVP of the Indiana game with 3 sacks. He said when he got on the sideline late in the game, he never got so emotional in a football game in his life. He said his hair was standing on end. He felt like he was on fire. And all of a sudden, tears were streaming down his cheeks.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the comeback that they made, the emotion created. And, of course, when you're playing a game like that that's rainy and a little bit off, that really does. That creates a lot of emotion.
3rd and a yard. Crabtree is a single sack. Brees with heat coming. Into the corner of the end zone. And got it away from his intended target. Going down for the tight end, Tim Stratton, just shy of the goal line. Adamov keeping it up, along with the free safety, Jason Doring.
It looked like Adamov was a little bit close there to interference. Having to throw off his back foot and against the grain. See right here, pressure on him. Brees gets the ball. Take a look right at the last minute, see if Adamov got there just a little bit early. Nope. Simultaneously, good non-call by the official.
So it's going to be a 45-yard field goal attempt. Travis Dorsch, his best so far in his career, a 47-yarder. He's got the distance and the direction, and that would be good from beyond the 50. He had about 8-10 yards past the crossbar. So Dorsch and the Boilermakers on the board first, leading 3-0.
For the best online selection of Wisconsin Badger apparel and gifts, shop Bucky'sLockerRoom.com. From gear for men, women, and kids, to collectibles and accessories, even items for your home and office, at Bucky'sLockerRoom.com, there's something for every Badger fan. Shop now and take advantage of today's special offer. Bucky'sLockerRoom.com, the official online store of the Wisconsin Badgers.
The COVID-19 pandemic has created challenging and unprecedented times as we seek to remain a leader in every aspect of our department. Now more than ever is the time we need your support. Please consider making a gift to help the Badgers continue raising trophies, developing student athletes that make us proud, and keep the world watching when we jump around.
Enhance your dream season viewing and participate in Badgers Live, an interactive second screen experience. Simply visit uwbadgers.com/live on your mobile device right now. Enjoy exclusive content, interactive games, and game day traditions. Plus, you can earn points for your participation and activity to win prizes. The Badgers Live experience. Best of all, it's free.
Because of this, we made Ford Super Duty the most capable heavy-duty pickup ever. Because of this, we built Ford F-150 with 375 horsepower and best-in-class payload.
Rescue 614 en route.
Because of this, we built Ford Ranger with the terrain management system. And because Ford trucks are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand.
In the first 15 minutes of play this year, Purdue has outscored the opposition 56-7. They are ready when the game begins, and usually they score on the first possession.
Good Foods Group is celebrating the Wisconsin Badgers' dream season by continuing their Sack Hunger campaign by making a contribution to No Kid Hungry for each historical sack. You can sack hunger with game day goodness by picking up Good Foods dips at your local Pick and Save store.
See on the left of your screen just pointing that out right here.
John
He
Sigmund
hustled down there and made the call.
Reserve tight end for the Badgers, securing it at the 34. So they're trying to keep it away. Talk about ultimate respect for Nick Davis.
Which I don't understand. I mean, at some point, you have to say, look, beat us. And what does that say about the confidence in your cover teams? I've never liked that. I just never have. With the exception of Anthony Davis at SC a couple of years ago. Remember that? Everybody had to kick away from him, but the guy ran back like 6 for touchdowns. That's a different story.
Barry Alvarez said that Davis is their first true punt return man. It's a home run threat since they had Troy Vincent here. They got it first and 10, solid field position for the third possession of their own 34, and they're still looking for their first down. The dump off, Dayne showing good hands out the 40, and he's got the first down shot down from behind. Taking Cecil Martin, the fullback instead. Lee Johnson caught up with him.
Martin is the only 4-year starter for Wisconsin. Has done an outstanding job as a fullback and blocker, and a pretty good pass catcher out of the backfield.
Pretty good touch by the quarterback, Mike Samuel.
Last play, Joel decided to double team him. Had the tight end, 6'8", 287 pounds. Take a look here. There's Retzlaff and McIntosh saying, you know what, you got 2 sacks early, but we're cognizant of you now.
Dayne to the boundary. In the Purdue territory for the first time, inside the 49, give him the 48. And a gain of 6 yards on first down as Johnson again, the weak side backer, got over there.
You know, one thing, and again, maybe I'm being too picky here, Joel, but one thing that I notice is just a little bit of tentativeness to his running. I don't mean he's slow, and I don't mean he's running powerfully. It's just that there's a little bit of a tippy-toe to it. Just a subconscious favoring of the ankle, it appears.
4 carries for 13 yards. Only one ever beat over 6 per crack for the Badgers. They're all-time running back. And Dayne tiptoeing the sideline was out of bounds early, right around the line of scrimmage. Willie Fell's getting over there. You mentioned Fells had to have a big game. He was involved early, like the other outside backer, Lee Johnson. Fells, the man in the middle, the junior from Palatka, Florida.
Johnson is doing a good job of stretching the thing out. It appeared that Dayne had some room to move, but he just couldn't quite tippy-toe the sidelines. Now they're going to have to come up about 3rd and 3.
Honorable mention, all Big Ten performer last year, Fells. In fact, Fells and Johnson out of the same high school in Palatka, Florida. They're pointing the market down there, recruiting Boilermakers. Shift the tight end, Chad Coombs. This time, got a jump offside, no flags. Samuel in trouble. He doesn't mind running the football. He was an option quarterback in high school. Built like a linebacker. And he's short of the first down on 3rd and a little more than 3. Lorzell making the stop. No, it will be 1 first down to the punt.
Lorzell did a nice job of the open field tackle. And as you pointed out, Samuel, a guy that doesn't throw as often. Take a look at the middle of the field. You're going to get a chance to see on the bottom. There is going to be an open man. Cuts across, there is on the slant, but he just can't quite get it to him, and the result is that he rolls out, tries to make the play, but Lorzell is able to drop him. Samuel lowers his shoulder, does get a little extra yardage, but not enough for the first.
Stepke just did a 53-yarder, hangs up a beauty. Deshaun Austin coming up short, it's off his fingertips, the muff punt, and they get it inside the 10. The Badgers have the ball. The recovery made by Dante King. Austin had problems on the last punt and put it on the ground, but recovered it.
And there's a situation where if you're Austin, it's a fair catch at the 10-yard line, let it go. Just let it go. If you're not sure, if you can't get it, just let it go. Take no chances. You know what? If they down it inside the 5, big deal. All right, you cost your team 7 yards. Don't worry about it. In that case, at the last minute, Austin should have just backed off and said no.
Purdue near the bottom in plus-minus ratio in the Big Ten, while Wisconsin coming into the game of +9. Wisconsin, one of the very best in the nation. And they get it. At the 9-yard line, 1st and goal. Dayne, the only one in the backfield. 2 tight end set, they'll run the option. Short yardage, Samuel, he's in. Touchdown, Badgers.
Good call by Brad Childress, running the option of the short side of the field. They had not done it. Unexpected. Purdue's not waiting on it. Everybody runs to Dayne, and Samuel's able to leg it in.
Mike Samuel from Penn Charter High School in Philadelphia. 6'3", 225-pound senior with the first score of the contest on homecoming night for the Badgers. 3-year starter. He doesn't throw it all that often. He likes to run the football. And now Matt Davenport tries to make it a 4-point lead for the Badgers. Out of the hold of Roscoe. And the Badgers lead for the first time this evening.
Under Armour is proud to outfit the Wisconsin Badgers in the world's most innovative footwear, uniforms, and training gear. To see Under Armour's full range of performance gear, go online at UA.com.
At Kohl's, shopping is easier than ever. Drive up and we'll bring your order to you. Or buy online and get free store pickup. Use contactless payment through Kohl's Pay. And we'll pack and ship your Amazon returns for free. Shop any way you'd like at Kohl's.
Badger families are everywhere. Today we salute Meg, Tony, Logan, and Austin Putty from Fond du Lac. Today's Family of the Game, presented by Kohl's. A special thanks to Kohl's for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Jake Samuel, quarterback for the Badgers, taking some snaps from a different center this time in case they need the second string center.
Well, Barry Alvarez said that Samuel could run. Take a look at the goal line. Does that ball come out a little early? There's the strip. Might have. But to Samuel's credit, even though he thought it might have come out, he's on top of it. He's going to recover. He wants that 6.
Jackson is back deep. And it'll be Cliff Jackson bringing it back. They pin him to the boundary. Does a good job to get it across the 20, out to the 22. Good kickoff for the Badgers as well. Let's head downstairs and rejoin Dean Blevins. Dean?
Well, you know, Joel, a while ago you mentioned how important special teams were and that they were much better here. They really are. And it helps a team like this, short field, it's a running team. And, you know, one of the keys to one of the reasons they're better this year is they've got a guy named Nick Davis. Nick Davis is a kick returner, number 22. Barry Alvarez said he had him in his office. And he said, Nick, we need a kick returner. He's a true freshman. He said, we need a kick returner. Can you catch a punt? He says, Coach, I can catch a punt.
Well, Nick Davis, former running back in high school, and once he touches the ball, he does look like a running back in the open field. Time for Brees. Gabe Cox out to the 30. Iron Man Adam Lee.
Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray.
Hip,
hip, hooray. He's a man.
Boy, oh boy. Iron Man.
Stop it.
Love it. We can't do it. To the 30-yard line. Good gain on first down. Brees on the slant. Cox can't hold on. Intercepted. Picked off with a deflection. Dorsey, the linebacker, and a bad break for Brees. It was right in the hands of Gabe Cox.
Well, that's the second time now. You know what? Brees has got to feel a little bit snake bit. You saw him look around for the hit and right on top of it. What a great job of Dorsey to be on top of it. But of course, let's give a little bit of credit to Eccles, the defensive back, for making the hit that caused the bobble. But twice now, big drops. You can see the interceptions last year. 13 games last in the Big Ten, already 8 here in 6 games.
Setting a great field position again at the Purdue 42. How would you like to have only 13 yards on 12 plays and lead like the Wisconsin Badgers right now? Samuel faking it, now going deep for Chambers, and rubbed out of the play with no flag by the D-back on that side. Austin, who angled him out nicely away from the seam of the field.
Austin did an outstanding job. Take a look. He's not buying. Look how far off he is right there. He's off about 12 yards, slanting in. He's not buying at all. He turns and runs right with him, cuts off the path, which he can do, looks back for the ball. Good non-call by the official. Outstanding coverage on the part of Austin.
So 2 early turnovers by the Boilermakers. The muff punt by that young man, Deshaun Austin. So he gave it to him at the 9, and Samuel took it in. And now could they capitalize at the 42? So 13 plays, only 13 yards so far for the Badger offense. Dayne, short side of the field. Nothing available. Popped out of bounds by the linebacker, Willie Fells.
Fells, I'm telling you what, number 40 wants to hit somebody, and that's somebody that is not any linebacker's favorite to try and collide with, especially when he squares his shoulders. Fells shows that he's fearless there and goes right after Dayne and knocks him backwards. You don't see that very often, that Ron Dayne gets knocked backwards.
This guy was all over the ball last year, 3rd in the Big Ten, not only leading the Boilermakers in stops, but 3rd in the Big Ten overall in tacklings. Now 3rd and long for Samuel. Not your prototypical passer, but a guy who usually gets the job done. 3 wide receivers for the first time tonight. Nothing available. And Samuel going down once again. This time, Lorzell, the linebacker, redshirt freshman from Park Ridge, Florida. 3 sacks already for the Boilermakers. And Wisconsin leads the Big Ten in sacks coming in.
And one of the things that obviously Brock Spack, defensive coordinator for Purdue, has seen is that Samuel's inability to make a decision. You can see right there, he hesitates, he has no place to go, and he gets dropped. They really don't respect his ability to get the ball downfield. As we pointed out, he only throws 13 times a game, so in obvious passing situations, Purdue is going to come with the kitchen sink.
Stepke with Austin. It'll be a shaky one again for Austin. He's put it on the ground twice. No. And out of bounds, as Stepke does a good job. It goes out at the 9. So the Boilermakers have it back, but deep in their own territory after the 39-yard punt.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. WEAbenefits.com.
Have a Badger kid at home looking for fun activities, games, and more? Then have them join Bucky's Kids Club, presented by Culver's. Members enjoy exclusive access to activity packets, events, videos, great offers, and more. Plus, best of all, it's free. Parents, sign up your kids today. Visit uwbadgers.com/Kids Club for complete details.
Left in the first 15 minutes of play. A 4-point lead for the Boilermakers. They've already turned it over a couple of times. They're quickie, and Cox holds on. Here's the one who gave it up the last time. He gets 9.
Well, last week, Drew Brees just put on a huge show, setting club records. And when you think of the quarterbacks that have been at Purdue, this is pretty astounding that in only his 5th game as a true sophomore, he would have put up those numbers. Take a look at the completions and attempts. That is an amazing percentage. And, of course, the 522 yards and 6 touchdowns. He did not, by the way, play in the 4th quarter, or else he could have really patted the head out of those numbers.
When you talk about the quarterbacks that have been there, you go back to Len Dawson in the mid-50s, Bob Griese in the mid-60s. They've been known as a school of great quarterbacks. Phipps, Gary Danielson,
Mark Herman,
Brees on 2nd and short. With a pump fake action. In trouble on his way down. And only lineman over there. Will we see a flag from the referee? Yes. It'll be...
The referee does a great job, Joel, and this is what I'm talking about. So many times you'll see the guy throw the flag, but what he did, he stepped up, looked downfield to see if there was anybody in the vicinity, and then he dropped it. That's what ended up happening. Great job by the official to take his time and take a look, because a lot of times they don't do that. They don't peruse the field, and sometimes they make a bad decision. Not this time.
Intentional grounding on the offense. 5 yards. Lost it down. 3rd down.
Take a look in the pocket. Brees has plenty of time. Pump fakes, but the coverage is there. Burke is relentless. He has him. Now he throws the ball, and there was nobody there. So Burke, with his 9th sack of 1998.
Like an octopus once he gets a hold of it.
He is tough. He's a player.
6'4", 250. 3 sacks last week in Indiana. It's a tough to swallow for Purdue on that one. It was only 3rd in the yard or 2nd in the yard. Now it's 3rd, better than 15. That's a motion there. Trips as they move it to the wide side of the field. And Brees, with heat coming, just gets rid of it. Throws it away. They love it in Madtown, better than 75,000 strong, and they're going to enjoy great field position now.
This is very strange because Purdue's defense had been giving up significant yards on the ground, and of course, as we pointed out, Wisconsin's secondary was suspect. I would have anticipated, Joel, a defensive contest here in the first stanza.
Well, Mike, it really is the beauty of college football. One of many things that make college football so great is that there are different ways to go about winning. We were seeing those philosophical differences unfold in this game, and the Badgers defensively, the big goal going in was don't give up the big one. You knew that Drew Brees and that offense, they were going to hit on a lot of passes. Just keep them in front of you.
And this forced each player on defense, especially in the secondary, to be very patient, because it gets frustrating if they're completing a lot of passes in front of you. But as you mentioned, they didn't want the ball to get over their heads. As a result, the linebackers played a big role as far as their tackling. When you look at Adimoff or Godorsey, they're going to be on the ball all night long, whereas the corners had to just pick their spots, which they most certainly did.
Yeah, they did. You mentioned Adam off 23 tackles in that game for Wisconsin. Bobby and everybody else on that defense, pretty busy group of guys on that night in 1998.
Return punts. He says, can you catch a punt? He says, Coach, I can catch a BB in the dark. That's a true freshman. That's confidence.
That's serious confidence. 63 seconds left, thanks, Dean. And a 1st and 10 situation after the holding call against the Boilermakers. And now they've got it to the Boilermakers 20.
Danny Rogers is the reason for the personal foul, Joel. He ends up hitting a player in the mouth, which makes no sense. Punter hits Joey Bowes in the mouth.
3rd consecutive start in Boilermakers territory for the Badgers, leading by 4. Chambers is the motion man. Dayne gets it to the outside. But that man again, Willie Fells, he's all over the place, getting him low. When it looked like he'd get 7 or 8, he only got 4. And a look back at that personal foul, not a hold.
For somebody that spends his time on the bench, it's no big deal. Why not just let it go? Let it go. Here at the last, comes into the face. And at the end of the play, Joey Bowes runs off the field and he's clapping his hands because he saw the flag behind.
And Bose is a true freshman. Talk about another guy who wants to get into it. He's a true freshman, 18 years old, modern-day Monarch out of Villa Park, California.
Well, Bose is somebody that you would consider then an instigator because he got a free 15 yards for the Badgers.
2nd and 6. Dayne 7 for 20. The option to Samuel. Can he take it in again? Will they give it to him? Yes. Touchdown, Wisconsin. 2nd for the senior on homecoming night.
Well, this certainly has to be frustrating for Purdue's defense that really, Joel, except for 2 plays, has played outstanding defense. Doing a great job holding Dayne to an average of less than 3 yards a carry. The passing game has been ineffective, but twice now they've run the option, and in both cases it's been successful.
The one thing Samuel has done for Wisconsin, he hasn't beat himself. In each of the last 3 games, he's run for at least 1 touchdown and thrown for at least 1 score. Davenport for the point after. And what a beginning for Mike Samuel. 3 carries for 25 yards, including those 2 touchdown runs on the option.
Cecil Martin, the 4-year starter at fullback for Wisconsin, is the man who was able to lead the way. We've been talking about Willie Fells. Take a look at Martin. Cuts his legs right out from under him. Fells is the guy that needs to make the play. Instead, there's Samuel into the secondary. Cecil Martin, an unsung hero, but if we continue to get him a little face time, he won't be. Great block downfield enables Samuel to go the distance.
Not exactly what most anticipated coming into this game. Wisconsin up early 14-3 before the end of the 1st quarter, because that is what Purdue has been doing to all of their opponents this year, jumping out and then trying to hang on.
Well, one of the things here, if one of the teams had to be behind and have to come back from 11-point deficit, it certainly would be Purdue with that pass attack. Wisconsin with their running game is less inclined to do that. And Alvarez certainly likes the way the ball has been bouncing so far. And on the other side, Tiller can't be too pleased with the turnover ratio that has plagued Purdue, certainly in this first stanza.
Wisconsin ready to kick it away once again. Samuel has taken it to 5 straight wins for the 2nd time over the last 22 years. Here in Madison, Jackson back deep up the far side along with Randall Lane. And the senior place kicker Davenport does it again. First team All Big Ten performer last season, and you can see why. Pinned him to the boundary the last time, now puts it 4 yards deep into the end zone, and special teams making a difference early as well for the Badgers. Madison tonight, homecoming, and what a beginning for the Badgers with 10 seconds left in the 1st quarter, capitalizing on Purdue turnovers. And mistakes as well in the personal foul. Boilermakers from the 20. Quick one. Gabe Cox hangs on. The senior from Tucson.
3rd time they've run that one, Joel. That's arguably been their most effective play up to this point.
So brilliant beginning for Ron Dayne, the junior running back, and the Wisconsin Badgers. Great night in Madison. They lead it by 11 as we get ready for the start of the 2nd quarter.
Good Foods Group is celebrating the Wisconsin Badgers dream season by continuing their Sack Hunger campaign, making a contribution to No Kid Hungry for each historical sack. As a family-owned and Wisconsin-based company, Good Foods strives every day to better serve our community, our customers, and our world with simple, safe, delicious food. You can sack hunger with game day goodness by picking up Good Foods' no artificial anything guacs at your local Pick and Save store, via Instacart, or online at shop.goodfoods.com.
When you've been injured, you need the hometown team on your side. Trust us to get you back in the game. Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. One call, that's all.
When you meet someone for the first time, how do you describe yourself? You tell them your name, you tell them where you're from. How do you tell them who you are? What you're made of? You tell them you're a Badger. You tell them where home is. You tell them about our family. You tell them it's not just about a school or a city or a team. Being a Badger is so much more than that. We believe success comes from hard work. We don't do shortcuts. We sweat. We have grit. We push. We help each other. And we always do it together. We live for the moments when the whole world is watching and we get to play. We're tough, we're fast, and we never, ever quit. We battle and we win championships. We love to get together, and when we do, it usually gets a little loud, a little rowdy, but damn, is it fun. We cheer, we sing, we jump around, we play 5 quarters. We have early mornings and we have some late nights. And then we wake up and we do it all over again. We know it's a challenge to get here, and we know it's an accomplishment to succeed here. We dream, we discover, we grow, we give back, and we achieve. We create our own future, and we go pro in everything. We may leave this awesome place, but this place, it never leaves us. We inspire, we become legends, we go all pro in whatever we do. We run boardrooms, and we change the world. So the next time you meet someone new, tell them you're a Wisconsin Badger, and be damn proud of it.
Wisconsin has not done much offensively over the first 15 minutes of play, but they've taken advantage of 2 costly mistakes by Brees and his wide receivers, as well as his punt return man. What a difference a day makes. Last week's numbers compared to this week's numbers. As Crabtree goes for the first down, and he's got it across the 30.
Bob Adamoff had a rather busy night that night. Bob, I had to look at this again, and I did a double take. You had 23 tackles in that game against Purdue. No one has had more since then. It's one of the all-time productive defensive performances. Do you have any idea how long it took for you to recover? How many days you needed after a game like that?
Well, I don't think we had a bye week, so I think Sunday morning we were right back at it, if I remember the schedule correctly. But that was a game. I forget how many plays that we actually had on defense, but I think it's double the normal. No doubt Drew set records. I don't know if there's still records to that extent, but from attempts and completions. And so it was one where we were running, but we prepared for it. And that's really the coaching staff knew what that was going to be like. And Coach Tiller brought in a new style to the Big Ten. And it's not something we're used to. Like, we'd rather just line up in the line of scrimmage and hit people, and that was probably a lot more fun to the game, but it was a little different than they brought that night.
Yeah, it was 103 plays, actually. But your team still won the time of possession by about a half a minute. So you just bang away. Badgers were banging away, running the ball, and Drew was throwing it all over the place. Talking to Barry about that game, and even then, and he brought it up again here recently, one of the things he stressed to you guys defensively was patience. And that's something that people probably think more of an offense, if it's football, basketball, or whatever. Give us an idea of what he was talking about against an offense like Purdue and a quarterback like Drew Brees, where all of you guys had to be patient defensively.
Yeah, they they were going to have a lot of opportunities in that game. And for us to be patient, when you throw the ball that much, you are going to make some mistakes. Like, it is going to happen. So don't let any of the big plays beat you. Keep people in front of you, right? Tackle them, be great tacklers, get them on the ground. And then, we had a phenomenal defense that year. I mean, the guys up front, we had a young secondary that ended up being awesome that year. And then obviously you followed the careers of the Bobby Myers and the Mike Eccles and the Jamar Fletchers and Jason Dorings. I mean, so we were destined to be great that year with the team that we had. And when you come from a patient standpoint, we have the athletes, we have the discipline. Don't let any of the big plays happen, and we will win this game because we had a great offense. Ron was running crazy. Mike was tough as nails, great offensive line. We were going to score our points. We just didn't want to beat ourselves by getting, letting people behind the coverage, right? Getting those long scores. And that's where it happened. I mean, they just dunked us with outs and quick slants the entire game, and we tackled them. And, you end up with 23 tackles, not because you played a great game, is because they just kept running by you with the ball, and so you tackled them.
Stop the run. 4 or 5 wide receivers says no. We wish to make them one-dimensional, and up to this point, that's what they have been.
No gain on that play. 3rd and 5 for the Boilermakers. Looking for the first touchdown of the game, down by 11. From the end, Burke held off, so gets to him, and they get the first down anyway. Going to the wide receiver, Isaac Jones. Burke almost had him down, and it looked like that end, the tackle rather, grabbed Burke on his way by.
I was going to say that looked like holding, but again, give Brees credit for the fact that he's able to hang in there and make the throw. Burke comes off the corner quickly. Take a look at how quick he is off the corner. To the left of your screen, he drops Brees, but not before he can deliver the ball. This is one of the things that we talked about with regards to the quarterback. There's so many times that the young quarterback will panic when he has somebody on top of him, and Burke almost with his 10th sack.
To the 44 of the Badgers. First down for Brees. Trips to the wide side of the field. Looking to the short side, again, he's got the same target, Isaac Jones. Senior from Wallingford, Pennsylvania, who caught 41 last year. Is a leading receiver coming in this year, but he's got 4 guys that basically he goes to, all right around 20 catches. Mike Eccles, a redshirt freshman, of the coverage.
Well, it just goes to show that they have to have confidence in Cox. They go with 3 wide receivers to the other side to afford Cox the opportunity to work one-on-one in space. And of course, Eccles, the defensive back, is not able to make the play. Isaac Jones with another catch.
His 29th of the season. The 9th play of the drive started Baxter. Boilermakers 20-yard line. Baxter diving ahead inside the 30. A little more than 2, maybe 3 at the most. Linebacker Gadorzy at the bottom of the pile.
But now it appears that Purdue is in a bit of a rhythm here, Joel. This is where Wisconsin is going to have to stiffen and force them to kick. Brees is feeling a little bit more confident, and they've shaken things up offensively. They're doing some things that they hadn't done in the first couple of series, forcing Wisconsin to be in some situations they don't want to be in. As you pointed out, freshman corners, you got to take advantage, do what you can, get the ball downfield.
Drive better than 4 minutes long. Longest drive of the year at 5:39 for the Boilermakers. A quick specialist, quick play artist. Average drive, 4 minutes and 12 seconds on their 24 scoring possessions. Crabtree going to get to the boundary. Could get it. Good pursuit down the line. Coming over first. Fouled Adams, the linebacker. Also up early, John Favre, the sophomore out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio.
One of the difficulties with the 4 wide receiver set, Joel, is minus a fullback, there's no lead blocker. And that forces the runner to have to make somebody miss right off the back. You're going to take a look here. Wide receiver doesn't get a block, and as you pointed out, there's Adams right in his face. Now they're going to have to come up 3rd and 10. Only have 1 instead of 2 opportunities to make this. I was surprised they ran on that, to be honest with you.
They lose yardage. 3 of 6 on 3rd down so far. This is 3rd, just about 10. Brees with trips to the wide side. Double clutching, putting it up for grabs, and almost an unbelievable catch by Jones, but close to a pick as well. Fletcher, the corner coming on. A redshirt freshman from Hazelwood East High School in St. Louis.
What they're going to try is he's going to go with the short corner, and he throws into cover, and Fletcher almost comes up with the pick, throwing really into triple coverage, had a bit of a zone. And Brees knew that actually was pretty lucky to get that one back. See their expression, well, okay.
Travis Dorsch is up to the 45-yarder. Would have been good from better than 50 because right now he's going to try a 50-yard attempt. Not much wind at all on a magnificent night for football. About 60 degrees, Dorsch again.
Unbelievable.
Did he pull it too much? No, he hits the top of the upright.
Joey's going to get another turn. This is unconscionable on the part of the Wisconsin defense. It makes no sense, especially from 50 yards out. There's a time to block a field goal, and then there's another time to say, hey, don't worry about it. You know, there's another time to say, hey, if he hits it from 50, okay, fine. You to me. But instead, Fletcher decides that he wants to jump outside and make a big play, and it costs him 5.
You assume correctly.
Previous spot.
Well, they'll take it 5 free yards and an opportunity. But what was amazing
Offside,
to me,
on a defense, 5 yards, repeat 4th down.
it was from 50 yards away, and it almost hit the very top of the upright, to give you an idea of the distance Dorsch had on it.
Well, then again, you pointed out that he'd made it from 45 before, so he just wanted to replay. I guess that's what the deal was.
It'll be a 45-yard attempt. Out of the hold of Danny Rogers, the punter. Good, a little bit too much that time. Corrects that swing. It's right down the middle, drawing a little bit inside the upright. And from 45 yards away, Dorsch 2 for 2. A 14-6 lead for the Badgers. 9:47 left in the first half.
The Wisconsin football dream season is presented by American Family Insurance. A special thanks to American Family Insurance for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
About this car since you were 8 policy from American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Enhance your dream season viewing and participate in Badgers Live, an interactive second screen experience. Simply visit uwbadgers.com/live on your mobile device right now. Enjoy exclusive content, interactive games, and game day traditions. Plus, you can earn points for your participation and activity to win prizes. The Badgers Live experience. Best of all, it's free.
Really like your backyard, man.
There's nothing to the east, so I can do this all day.
No, Patrick. East is that way.
Oh, man, that's not good.
With Hy-Vee aisles online, it's easy to order online and pick up everything you or your neighbors might need.
Sorry about your hot dogs. All right. It won't happen again.
Okay. Hy-Vee aisles online, convenient pickup, and we deliver too.
Get up! It's time to dance with Bucky, presented by Hy-Vee.
That's right, on time. It's tricky. Here we go. It's tricky to rock around. That's right, on time. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky to rock around. That's right, on time. It's tricky. I met this little girlie. Her hair was kinda curly. Went to her house and bust her out. I had to leave real early. These girls are really sleazy. All they just say is please me or spend some time and rock around.
Way to move it, Badger fans. A special thanks to Hy-Vee for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Welcome back to the state capitol and a break for the Boilermakers. After the missed 50-yard attempt on the squib kick, will it be Davis? No, to be Dante King instead, the defensive back. Taking himself down early across the 25, off balance to the 28, but Fletcher offside. That may turn out to be a big break before it's all over.
To the very far left of your screen, number 2 is going to jump. And for whatever reason, again, he's a redshirt freshman. I know that he's young, but you just have to be aware of the fact that you're going to cost your team. It's a 50-yard kick. Don't worry about it. If he makes the kick, give him his due. It's the 30 and 32-yarders. Instead, 5 yards closer. The man's a little more comfortable, a little more relaxed. Gave him 3 points.
He's out of the same high school in St. Louis, Hazelwood East, that gave the Badgers Terrell Fletcher, the exceptional running back. Now with the San Diego Chargers, but they're not related. From the 28, first and 10. Purdue almost jumped outside. Dayne Gets a block, and he's got a first down, I believe, just across the 39. Back to the studio first, though, and Mike Adamley. Mike. All right, Mike, and for those of us that live out west, you're included there, Todd. Pac-10 up and down is maybe one of the most difficult.
No, certainly no one dominant team.
Samuel throwing a low one. Chris Chambers on the receiving end.
Chambers is the guy they want to get the ball to, averaging over 20 yards a catch. He's their big guy.
And he is at that at 6'1", 205, good size too.
Number 88. He's the guy, but again, because the accent is on the running, maybe he doesn't get the balls that he needs to. And of course, one of the things that happens there, Joel, as you can see the great numbers that he has, 5 TDs, is that it's difficult to recruit the blue chip receiver up here because of the fact that they're dominant in the running game.
Dayne the single set. Second, just about 4. More than 3. Dayne putting it. Chambers trying to set up the block on the outside with the flag down on the play. He's right at the first down marker near midfield. Fells, Rose, the two backers combining for the stop.
Hard to see what it is up front, but the two inside guys for Purdue continue to jump. For whatever reason, that's about the 3rd or 4th time, and this time it's going to cost them 5 and give Wisconsin a first down.
Offsides on the defense, 5 yards. It'll be a first down.
It appeared to be Mitchell on number 98, and it is clearly in the neutral zone. In fact, he might have collided with the left guard. He's seeing something that nobody else is. But once again, when you're playing a back of the caliber of Ron Dayne, you got to get some sort of edge. You can't be on your heels hoping for the best and just reading, because if you do that, he's going to make you go backwards.
What about that hard count maybe from the quarterback, Mike Samuel, as well, who his coach told us yesterday, Barry Alvarez is strung so tightly, he's strung like a linebacker, and also very realistic in his throwing ability. He was kicked away footed, too.
Kind way of saying this isn't your game.
Never mind stuffing it and running with it. He's only got 2 touchdowns on the ground tonight, and here he goes, ready to run it. Holds on to it for good yardage, and has another first down on the option. Billy Gustin tripping him up, the free safety.
Well, when the free safety is making the tackle that far downfield, it shows the people at the point of attack are doing what they need to do. Once again, weak side, Joel. They seem to have found a weakness there. He fakes the pitch, cuts upfield, and again, at 215 pounds, this is no shrinking violet. Samuel's a tough guy. As you mentioned, Barry Alvarez talked about how this is a guy who plays quarterback like a linebacker. He has that sort of mentality.
Each of the last 2 years, he's had more interceptions than touchdown tosses. So he's definitely realistic about his throwing ability. You can see him on the ground tonight doing a great job of former quarterback in high school. Going to be Dayne. Good penetration in the backfield, though. Matt Mitrione, a redshirt freshman from Springfield, Illinois, who starts due to the injury to Brent Butts, who's out for the year, and Colvin also getting in there.
Wisconsin leading the Big Ten in time of possession. And this has got to be a little bit of a concern for Purdue. With rolling down to about 7.5 minutes here in the second quarter, this game is going awfully fast. And I think that has to be frustrating on the part of Purdue that they haven't been able to generate the kind of offense I think they anticipated generating, particularly after the big numbers of last week.
Not a huge group up front, so they stand the third long time. Could affect them down the stretch. Only 250, both their legs. Samuel looking to pick out the Chambers. He cradles it at the 30. Short gain on 2nd and 10.
Once again, Austin giving him a little bit too much cushion. And this is surprising to me simply because of the fact that you think he'd be up in run support. You can see right there, that's a good 10 yards. Chambers able to sit down once again to throw a little bit low, but Chambers gets the hands underneath. And now they come up 3rd and 3.
Interesting, because that's usually the MO of the defensive backs for Wisconsin. They 8-10 yards off that cushion because they don't want to get beat by the long ball. But that time it was Austin, giving them plenty of room to move. And now it's going to be 3rd and 3. They're 0 for 4 in their 3rd down attempt so far. And movement up front, dead ball foul coming up against the offense.
Prior to the snap, full start on the offense, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
Take a look at the trick here by the defensive lineman who actually moves a hand up to make it look like he's going, but he's not going. And the result is they get quick movement. Take a look at the forearm right there. There it is, pointing, there's another point, and that causes him, I believe that was Colvin who was able to do that. And of course, Colvin up to this point has been a real thorn in the side of Wisconsin because of the 2 sacks that he had early on. And a little subtle movement there caused the penalty for Wisconsin.
The drive stay alive, but started back to Badgers on 28. And the 35. It's third and 8. Running to the short side of the field. Samuel takes it himself. Will he get there? Yes. What a number he did. The man on the perimeter get on the option pitch. Samuel has another first down, keeping it.
Well, Joel, I'm not so sure it's so much that Johnson bit, but he gets caught between a rock and a hard place. You have to have a guy for the quarterback, and you have to have a guy for the halfback. Johnson is out there, but who's he take? He can't decide because there's no support from the inside because they have wide receivers to the wide side of the field, and that's where the predominance of Purdue's defense was. They're going to have to make some sort of adjustment here because that's 4 times now they've run the weak side option with great success.
Good point. To the short side of the field, they're working the option effectively. First and 10 from the 23, 7th play of the drive. Bird on third and 8. Samuel does it on his own. The short side of the ball. Maybe that's the game this time. Great pitch in the last second as Samuel was hammered by the strong side backer Mike Rose. And good yardage on first down to the 16.
You know what I like what Brad Childress, the offensive coordinator for Wisconsin, is doing? It's on the old line of it ain't broke, don't fix it. He keeps coming back and saying to Purdue, listen, you better make an adjustment here. As you can see, that's Brad Childress right in the middle of your screen with the cap on. If you're not going to make the adjustment, we're going to keep running this. And obviously, they've done it with effectiveness. Joel, right there, that 7-yard gain was the least of the 5 plays that they've been able to do to that weak side.
They've got about 7 on first down. 5:48 left in the first down. 8-point lead for the Badgers. Trying to go 6-0. Lunging ahead, taking the pile close to the marker, made the first down just inside the 13, close to the 12. Well, Mike Samuel has done it on his own, running the football, but maybe the funniest line we got from the offensive coordinator yesterday, Brad Childress, when he was talking about Mike Samuel, he said, you know, don't forget he was a pitcher in high school, and I guarantee you he had great movement on all of his pitches because a lot of his passes, he doesn't know where they're going either.
Yeah, but the offensive line here has been so dominant that they haven't had to depend upon him having to throw the ball. And normally you'd think it would be Dayne, but it's that guy right here with his legs. And as was pointed out to us, it's not like he's one of those 4 or 5 option quarterbacks. I mean, he's not a blazer. But he turns upfield and he's smart. He knows what to do, and certainly they've been able to get it upfield.
This entire offensive line is coming back next year with the exception of the right tackle, Aaron Gibson. McIntosh, Ferrerio, Casey Raybach, Dave Costa, only a sophomore. 3 sophomores in the middle. The left guard, the center, and the right guard.
Joe, you just saw right there in the middle of the field, number 53, Rob Roll. Evidently, Rayback has some sort of injury.
Roll a junior, so he's back. Young man from Iron Mountain, Michigan. We saw Samuel working with him on the sideline when he came out of a timeout earlier. He was using both centers today. So another first down. Dayne, 4 carries for 30 yards on this drive alone. He's been successful run so far this season. Here's the single set. Samuel looking in the end zone. Looking at himself though. He took a shot out of bounds near the 10.
Mike Samuel with the keeper.
Leader, according to Brad Childress, who also said he was hurt in the UNLV game, but he wouldn't say a word, and he also wouldn't leave the game.
I like what Mike Rose did here, though. Great fake, fooled everybody except Rose on the other side. He's able to get his foot speed to chase him down after a minimal gain. Take a look at the misdirection. Here's the misdirection. Here's the fake pitch. Everybody, all the white shirts, oh, we're fooled. And here he comes rolling out. It looks like he has some room, but suddenly Rose closes the gap along with number 54, Cheeky O'Keefer. As a result, only a gain of about 2.5.
From the 10. Into the 2nd and 8. Drive the Badgers, and they use their first time out in the first 30 minutes of play. Indecision for Samuel. He won't take any chances, up by 8.
It's time for a classic Badger Rewind, presented by Quartz Insurance. In women's soccer action from 22 years ago this week, Maria DiGiovanni notched 2 goals as the Badgers upset 18th-ranked Northwestern 5-2. And during the same week back in 1998, Keely Wright led the Badgers with 16 kills as the 6th-ranked Badgers blanked number 20 Ohio State 3-0. Today's classic Badger Rewind was presented by Quartz Insurance. A special thanks to Quartz Insurance for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Compeer Financial has always been there for our clients and communities in any situation. And our support continues today as our clients work relentlessly to feed, clothe, and fuel the world. Compeer is proud to continue our strong commitment to our clients, the rural communities where they live, and to agriculture. We're here to help meet the financial needs of rural America, and we'll navigate through this together.
Scoring teams in the nation shut down so far. So when they talk about baseball, good pitching beats good hitting every time. Well, one of the top defensive units, the Wisconsin Badgers, they're only giving up 9.6 points per game defensively. They're in the top 10 in so many categories.
Well, that explains why they refer to as the Kevin Brown defense. Okay, I get it.
This defense has kept them in so many games. Right now, the offense off to a great start. Hanging on to the football from the 10 and 7 and 8. They hold for Dayne. Flag down in the middle of the field. Dayne's also down at the 4-yard line.
That was clear from the back of the end zone. I'm guessing that's got to be either a hold or maybe even a chop block, Joel.
There's no flag on the play. It was thrown in air.
So the game short of the first down by Dayne.
What I was going to say is what happens a lot of times in the middle of the pile, a guy's legs get caught up and it appears that he's being held onto while he gets cut blocked. In this case, the official decided that he wasn't held onto, and so they'll come up third and very short. Third and very short. It's really cool to have a 253-pound tailback, let's say.
He takes the pile with him.
This is a great opportunity, though, for Sammy to get his third touchdown. If he were the bootmaker, I think he would walk.
Here's up here. And maybe takes it. It'll go to the right side. The short side, they're working all night for him. They get the game. And he loses yardage. And you were right, though. It was available. The bootleg was wide open.
Well, again, there's a situation where you got split backs, and you're going to go with a guy 253 pounds and go wide. Why not go between the tackles with your 320-pound offensive line average? Instead, he goes laterally, and once again, you got to give credit to Purdue in their pursuit, particularly in that case, Chucky McCory. But still, the issue there is that, go between the tackles. You'll be in fourth down territory with that great tailback. I don't understand that call.
Amazing place kicker, Matt Davenport, first team All-Big Ten last year, the senior from Mission Viejo, California. With a 25-yard attempt, he's yet to miss this year. He's 7 of 7. Comes out the hold in Glasgow. And he drills it. For the 25-yarder, little breathing room now in a two-possession game, two-score game. 11-point lead again for Wisconsin. The Boilermakers of Purdue.
The UW Athletic Department salutes Garrett Bunker as today's season ticket holder of the game, presented by BMO. A 2014 UW graduate with a degree in consumer affairs, Garrett attends games with his wife Andrea and siblings Elliot and Emma. As a kid, Garrett first attended Badger games in 1998 and enjoyed watching Ron Dayne. He notes the 2010 upset of Ohio State as his favorite Badger game day to date. The UW Athletic Department thanks today's season ticket holder of the game, Garrett Bunker, as well as BMO for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
In these challenging, uncertain, uncharted times, you stand strong. No matter the conditions you face, you get the job done. You are the backbone of our communities.
The Boilermakers get a break after Wisconsin held on to the ball for better than 5 minutes to turn it all the way down to the 5-yard line. They couldn't capitalize on 3rd and short as Decisive kicks it away. Jackson waits for it inside the 5, and he'll take it from near the 2. But Jackson, good speed, but shut down.
Number 25, Jackson.
Demetrius Brown, the wide receiver, the first one down there on the special teams coverage for Wisconsin.
Safe to say the Wisconsin defense is rested.
Well, the Purdue offense has been making mistakes. They've given the ball away a couple of times. One time, Brees had a pass go right out of the hands of Gabe Cox. That was intercepted by Dorsey, the linebacker. Another time they put him on the ground on a punt. Sean Austin set up a 9-yard run back. The quarterback, Mike Sanders, so beating themselves right now with mistakes and also a personal foul call. It's set up at the 20. Purdue 20 for Wisconsin. With the completion out to the 32 for about 8 yards on first down as we go back to the studio and Mike Adamley. Mike?
Hey, Mike, what's up with those uniforms?
You said it.
Cow. Man, oh man, got that musket thing there.
Thought we were throwback sorts. 8 yards on first and 10. After they negotiate the 2. Brees with good protection. Second and third receivers to look for, which he does so well, and Randall Lane has it across the 45 and 46. Junior from City and High School in Chicago, good for 13. Dorsey chopping him down with Adamov.
All right, let me do it one time and I'll get it out of the way. This is why they refer to him as Cool Breeze. There's one receiver, there's a second, and there's the third. You're exactly right, Joel. He's able to look those things over, see the field. And, you know, he threw across his body, threw where he wasn't supposed to, but nonetheless, he gets the completion. Good players, good quarterbacks can get away with it.
2 to each side for Brees. Lane again. They've got about 8 yards from the corner before they snap the ball. So you can pick up 6 or 8 working on the redshirt freshman Eccles. It's interesting that they haven't tried to go downfield with the short stuff on the boundaries each time against the redshirt freshman cornerbacks.
One of the things is that, you know, the quarterback never wants to admit that he's picking on someone. But, you know, if he has a degree of success, it's not like he's going to say, hey, look at that, 3 straight completions. Let's try the other side. No, I don't think so.
Second, a little more than 2, almost 3, inside the 48. 3.5 minutes of the opening half. They do not find the end zone. A rarity for the Boilermakers this year. Brees again underneath. Lane, he's got the first down. And give Gabe Cox the assist. Both defensive backs on that same side of the field, downfield with him.
You're exactly right. That's something that we had talked about earlier. But again, the protection that he is getting now has been outstanding. Burke earlier in the game was really causing some problems, but what they've been doing is they've been cutting him and going with the three-step drops. It's enabled him to have a little bit more time. He was driving him crazy the last couple of times, but I've noticed too that not only have they been cutting him, but every now and then they'll bring a tight end to double team him too, because they've got to keep that guy out of the backfield.
Big 10 sack leader. Also had 15 tackles for losses coming into the game. Thompson both departments. Brees, there again finds Lane. His seventh grab. He was getting the marker. Yes, he's going to get the first down. Beatty. Linebacker on the sideline. It's down to the 27. Very methodical in this march.
One of the famous defenses of the past. I remember the Cleveland Browns used to refer to them as the bend don't break defense. Maybe that's what Wisconsin is doing here, saying, okay, we'll give you a little something between the 20s, but maybe we'll break down now, because as time continues to run out, Wisconsin has to be very pleased with where they are. They just don't want to give up a big play, Joe.
Kevin Glasgow, the defensive coordinator for the Badgers, told us yesterday that they normally do play. A little back on the corners. They're back again. Brees has time. Head is momentarily instead out of bounds, and the throw goes to Randall Lane. It's not complete. A little late on his decision, though.
Not only that, but Lane was standing out of bounds to begin with. Again, Brees with about 5 seconds to throw. Plenty of time as you see the distribution there. Not many downfield, but he has been throwing to the right a lot, and in between 15 yards in the scrimmage, he's 7 for 8. That's when he's been most effective, hence the reason why we continue to see it.
That's his first incompletion of this drive, 5 of 6 so far in the third drive. They started back at their own 24 for 49 yards. Knock against Purdue as they don't go downfield. Well, against press coverage they did. Here comes a blitz on the corner. Brees unloads in a hurry, but throws it behind. The intended target to the outside, Chris Daniels.
Good job of disguising it. Kevin Cosgrove has the corner come off the corner of the 4 wide receiver set. He anticipated there the hot route, which is where the inside receiver runs the short out. But in that case, he just didn't have enough time, and threw it over his head. Now 3rd and 10.
Well, they have to settle for another field goal attempt. They've already got 2 from Travis Doyce. There's the defensive coordinator, Kevin Cosgrove. The 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 with a gamble again, though. And bring him from the corner possibly.
You know what I love here? I love a quarterback draw. I know that Brees isn't much of a runner, but that would certainly shock him because they only have 1 guy in the middle of the field.
2 wideouts to each side to Brees. The blitz is coming up the middle. They pick it up. He steps up to buy some time, and now he's in trouble. Will he get one more drop? Throwing for Cox. What a play to Cox. All the way down to the 6-yard line. A flag is down on the play. What an adjustment, though, by Brees, showing good speed and mobility, escapability as well.
Really did, because at 6'1" and 210 pounds, you would have anticipated this guy was quick enough to do that, but he is. Back and forth, kind of a Fran Tarkenton thing. Comes back against the grain, and if you're going to do that, that's asking too much of the defenders to have to cover a guy for that period of time.
Did a lineman go downfield early?
No flag on the play.
That's the second excuse me of the night, 1 for each side. Alvarez got the break earlier.
Well, take a look at what happens now. He bides time, slides. Now he's going to come to his left, and for a right-hander, that's tough. Now he pivots back against the grain, and what's amazing here is this throw off of the 1 foot, almost like a corner route, delivers the ball on the money. Just a great effort by the young quarterback.
Just when you thought you tracked him for a huge loss, Brees comes through. This is only a 6th career start.
As I say, Joe, what's particularly impressive about that, it's one thing to do your reads and to be, do the things you're supposed to, but it's another thing to be improvisation, which he was there. He has both skills.
1st and goal for the first time tonight. Crabtree is a single set. He's looking to throw on 1st and goal. 2 and 3 options. He's running out of racing room. Got a break, but it wasn't picked off by the linebacker Adamov. Went through his hands and almost went to the receiver behind him.
And Joel, there's a situation where it's 1st down. It's your first try. So you got plenty of time. If things aren't working and they've decided to rush 4 and cover with 7, just get rid of it. Throw it out of the end zone. You're right. Adamov almost comes up with a terrific catch, but in that case, Brees should have just thrown out of the end zone.
First time they've been in a goal line situation. 2nd and goal now with 2:44 left in the half.
Draw play.
Adamov, a great story. A former Rocket was a team captain for the Badgers. 10th goal to drive. Started back at the 28. the wide side, where they come back to Lane on the near side. Still looking to the wide side of the field. And getting the pass to Brees into the shot in the back of the end zone from Jason Doring.
Well, the thing is they're doing a great job of covering here because the pressure just isn't quite the same as it had been earlier. They kept their tight end, had 6 in protection rather, and this time Burke pushed to the outside. He gets to him a little bit, but really I don't think that was an issue, Joel. I just really think that what's happening here in the secondary for Wisconsin, they're taking advantage of the shorter field, and now a big play here on 3rd down.
Matt White, the left tackle, is credit as well. First season as a starter. The sophomore from Greenville, Ohio for Purdue. It's a 3rd and goal from the 7. Purdue trailing by 11. To the each side, making trips over to the right side. Empty backfield, just Brees there. In the corner, touchdown Purdue. What a grab by Chris Daniels, and that was a bullet. And Tiller right away ready. He wants a 2-point conversion.
Here's the thing that I found interesting about this play. Those of you that follow football closely remember back in the 70s, the Pittsburgh Steelers were one of the first teams to run near the goal line, kind of the comeback route. Remember, Bradshaw would run that with Stallworth, where it looked like it might be a fade, then he has the ball come back to it. He sits on him in that case. He comes like he might be running an up, or he might be running a little bit of a slant, plants and comes back, and the pass has to be an absolute P. As you pointed out, he drilled it right on the money.
Chris Daniels, the junior from Clearwater, Florida. But a big grab in their game in the Alamo Bowl last season, their victory. 69-yard catch. Coming up with their first touchdown tonight with 2:35 left in the half. They moved the ball successfully all night long. They haven't beaten themselves though. Now the 2-point conversion try. That's a motion man. The roll was inside for Brees. And he's got his man. Randall Lane is favorite target, making his 8th reception of the half.
Once again, Joel, there are so many times that they say don't throw across your body. Don't do that because that's when it gets picked. It makes no sense. Don't even try it. Good quarterbacks can do that, and quarterbacks with tremendous vision. In that case, that's exactly what Brees had. He rolls to his right. He's got 3 or 4 different options. That's the touchdown, an absolute peak.
Stick around at halftime, Badger fans. Don't miss a classic University of Wisconsin Marching Band halftime show, presented by NBC 15.
Hard work, sweat, knowledge in your own 2 hands. These are the tools that build Wisconsin. Leave your mark on the real world with 0 debt and higher pay. All from day one. It's time to do work that works for you. Learn more at buildingwisconsintogether.com.
might be only a sophomore, but he's a cool customer, Todd.
He really is. He's able to see the field. Take a look here. You're going to get a chance to see what we were talking about. It looks like a fade route, then all of a sudden he pivots back, just drills the ball. And really in a position to make the play was number 36, Eccles, but the throw was just too good. And here on the two-point conversion, rolls right, buys his time, now throws back against his body, and Lane makes the catch. And once again, Joel, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Kick it deep and take your chances. You're just giving this team too good a field position.
They're going to have it at the 35 after Bunton's squib went out of bounds.
Well, think about this. If for whatever reason you kicked it to the goal line and the guy ran it back 35 yards, wouldn't you say that was a tremendous return and great field position? That's in effect what you're just handing to them. It makes no sense.
5-yard line by rule. Wisconsin's ball.
He looks so young. You know what? I tell you what. I'm doing the Ironman. If I can look like Mike Adams.
Good, fit, about 15 years younger. Looks 25.
Handsome center of the gun.
Boy, that makes you sick, doesn't it?
Kimmy, you are one lucky young lady. That Alexander's got to be a beautiful baby.
First and 10 give to Dayne, didn't do a thing. Now there's a team that could play catch-up. Coming into the game, we knew it was Purdue. It wasn't Wisconsin. Wisconsin has problems moving the football.
What I like about Brees is that, you know, for a young quarterback, he could have easily said, oh, no, things aren't going well. Balls are popping up. Guys aren't running their route. They're dropping passes. I don't know about this. Instead, he hangs with it, and they're right back in the game.
We're talking about the phenomenal starters they've had at Purdue. Dawson, Breezy, Herman, Jim Everett. The numbers stacking up quite nicely for Drew Brees in his first 5 career starts.
Don't forget those first 2 quarterbacks from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And so, you know, again, contemporary football is certainly different from the 4 quarterbacks mentioned, but you have to be impressed with those numbers, particularly, I think, the completion percentage. So you're throwing a 67% completion clip. Boy, that's outstanding. And, of course, the second quarter, he was really gotten it together. He's in his rhythm. Having already thrown 30 balls.
And that former Sooner down on the sideline probably has something to say about that. Dean Levens, Dean.
You know, I worked the game 40 days ago when he started at USC. Joel, I believe you were out there too, and I think a lot of people were saying, you know, how's he going to replace Billy Dicken? Well, now with all due respect to Billy Dicken, this guy has made them forget about Billy Dicken. He is unrelentless in his ability to be patient, to buy time, and to do everything a quarterback has to do. I really want to know, John Makovich's back in the studio. Hopefully, John will be able to tell us why I didn't recruit him at Texas. You know, he wanted to go to Texas or Texas A&M, and I know he had a knee problem late in his high school career, but this guy, I know Mac Brown or R.C. Slocum, either one would like to have him right now, along with about 100 other college coaches.
Dean was the Texas 5A Offensive Player of the Year a couple of years ago, leading his high school, Westlake High School, state championship 2 years in a row. His starting record in high school, 28-0-1. Samuel forward on second, a little more than 10. This is what he does best. And he's got a first down. He loses it at the end of the run. They want to say he's down anyway, though, at the 46.
Well, if that would have been in the pros, it would have been a fumble because nobody touched it. But in this case, it's first down for Wisconsin. He has certainly helped this team with his feet. In fact, without Samuels running, you know, Purdue would be up 10 points instead of down, by 3. Here he cuts up the field. A little bit of a slide right there. Ooh, that strip ball. That was close. That was close.
Samuel owns their 2 touchdowns tonight on runs of 9 and 16 yards, working the option to the short side of the field on both occasions.
Jason Roselle twice now has stripped him with the ball, that one time at the goal line, which of course didn't matter because he recovered. Here he strips him in midfield.
Outside of the 46, first and 10. Samuel grabs it and batted away from Nick Davis at the last second.
Joel, what ends up happening is the wide receivers, you're anticipating the blow. Here's Davis anticipating the blow on the slant. Take a look, he's going to brace for the hit instead of concentrating on the ball, and the result of the brace is he bats it down. Otherwise, he's able to go the distance. Austin going for the pick, can't quite get it.
Colvin, a presence early in the game, quiet.
Second and 10.
O'Keefer making noise early. The offensive line picking up the pace as well. That time, obviously, Samuel working out of the gun. There's Jack down again. They're going to run the option. And the pitch is available to Dayne. Good hands for the big guy.
Ron Dayne in the carry.
Now to the 47. Now will Purdue call a timeout? A third down is coming up. They've got 2 timeouts remaining.
I would think not, simply because of the fact, Joel, that if Purdue calls a timeout here and Wisconsin were to get the first down, that would be a gift for them. Coming off the corner, safety blitz. Here's the pitch, and you can see how wide open Dayne had it. Look at him batting the ball in the air, able to make the catch, and still able to pick up the yardage. Had he not bobbled the ball, he certainly would have had the first down.
15 carries, 49 yards, well below his average of 6+ per carry coming into it. Samuel out of the gun. Dave Retzlaff, 6'8", 285. He had one catch last week, and we talked to the offensive coordinator about Dave, and we were amazed by his size. He goes, obviously, we don't exactly feature the tight end in our offense.
Well, what they did there is they ran the slant route over the top, and Retzlaff runs the short out underneath. Look at the shoes. Look at his, holy cow, he's huge.
He's a throwback without the jersey.
No, look at that. There's got to be, what, 16, 17? Those are huge. 6'8", 287. I played at 16 and a half, 230. Obviously, we're different types.
Serious base to work from. Good play. The open field by Mike Rose, the strong side linebacker, before he could get out of bounds. 49 seconds left in the half, and Wisconsin calls a timeout this time. They've got one remaining when we return.
Bring the tailgate to your table with Johnsonville Brats, Brew Pub Lots Matza Pizza, Old Dutch Tortilla Chips, and Dutch Crunch Potato Chips. Sure make hot dogs, Texas Roadhouse Peanuts, and Pepsi, the official tailgating products of the Wisconsin football dream season. Time to show your stuff, Badger fans. It's time to play What Year Was It? Presented by Toyota. Thanks for playing What Year Was It? Presented by Toyota. A special thanks to Toyota for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
We were just talking about the size of Dave Retzlaff, the tight end at 6'8", 285. When he lines up on the right side next to the right tackle, well, he's not exactly dwarf, but Aaron Gibson goes at 6'7", 370, a guy that is flexible enough that he can do the splits.
Now, you know what? I've got, let me check real quick. You know what? I think I've got $6 in my pocket. I'll pay for that. I want to see it. I want to see 6'7", 370 down doing that gymnastic thing.
Largest player in Badger history. Biggest, obviously, Big Ten this year. And you can't tell that he reduced his waist size by 4 inches this year. Don't think it was Jenny Craig. 7 is long. 7 is just about 8. Samuel on the long count. Did he get him to jump? No flag under the way. And the fumble picked up, I believe, by Purdue. Yes, Roosevelt Colvin taking it away. And all of a sudden, the Boilermakers with 2 timeouts remaining and 45 seconds left in the half get it back on a miscue.
Colvin certainly is their big play guy, but I think that Samuel may have been concentrating a little bit too hard on that count and trying to draw somebody off size. Because the result is it just looked a little discombobulated. You can see right here. Here he comes down the line. And there's the strip. I believe that was Mitrione is the one who's able to make the strip. Colvin with the recovery, and now this is interesting though, Joel, here at the 30. They cannot afford the luxury of all the dink and dump passes here with 45 seconds left. He is going to have to go up top here at some point.
David Target up in the first half, 8 catches for 84, Randall Lane. His Joyce off the field, looking to Lane again for his 9th. So work the boundary to stop the clock after a game of only 4 to the 34. First turnover. Mitrione forced the fumble. Colvin recovered it.
Good job with that.
First turnover, though, by Wisconsin.
Now, why does that always happen? Here I am saying good job. At some point, they're going to have to do it. How's that?
It had to happen to Colvin. As soon as you said 7 and 6 for the 34. Looking to go deep downfield. The middle's available. Cox almost got to it. The linebacker, Gadorzi, in the line of fire for Brees, though.
Brees knows now on second thought, though, he had the chance. You're exactly right. He did have the ball downfield, had what he wanted with that zone coverage, but just couldn't quite deliver the ball moving to his left. Tough throw.
Be checking in with Mike Adamley, John Makovic. Final 37 seconds of this first half. The National Target on halftime report coming up next. 36. So they're able to hang on to the football for the remainder of the half. 4 of 9 so far in that department. And throwing behind the wide receiver makes a great grab. Cox.
Brees pass complete to number 8, Cox.
By Leonard Taylor.
Joel Purdue's
grabbed up by Leonard Taylor.
They might actually catch a break. They don't need to call a timeout because it's stopped. They have the first down. They're going to come up the line of scrimmage and hold on to that timeout. Good decision on the part of Brees, who's looking over the sidelines to make a decision. Give the hand signals to the people on the outside as to what they're going to run.
Still have 2 timeouts left. Clock moving, 25 seconds remaining. Don't need a lot down here, but Brees goes with it. To the right side of the field, can he get the boundary? Yes. The reception by Cox, or Daniels, who took a shot at the, or Isaac Jones rather, who took a shot at the end of the play, but he does get out of bounds to save the timeout. But they're out of time almost with 18 seconds left.
Kevin Cosgrove has to be careful here, defensive coordinator of Wisconsin. He might want to take some chances simply because of the fact that here, if you're going to get predictable, they're going to continue to hit the same things and get down into field goal range. This would be the opportunity for Purdue to go down the middle again, as they did before, make the completion and call the timeout.
The slot receivers, Cox and Jones. Brees in trouble, down the middle. Randall Dayne, they've got a timeout, they're going to stop the clock. The first down obviously stops it, but they'll use one of their final 2. 10 seconds left, so they can get another play in to see if they can get it into the end zone before a long field goal attempt.
One of the things here is the strong arm of Brees because he had some problems. Burke was all over him. He came in with the 360 rush. He's all over him, and still Brees able to make it. Take a look. He comes upfield, arm under. Looks like he's being held. Spins off right in his face and off his back foot. He's still able to make the throw. Matt Light, the left tackle, has all he can handle in Burke up to this point. But again, give Brees credit. He continues to amaze with his ability to throw from all angles.
And you talk about off the back foot. He's not a huge guy, Todd, at 6'1", 210. All the quarterbacks, it seems like now, 6'4", 6'5", and thick guys.
But he's a pumped-up 210. He lifts.
He's got only 10 seconds to work with. The ball at the 35. They've already got a couple of field goals. Both 45-yarders from Travis Dorsch, so this is well within his range. It'll be about a 52-yarder. They didn't pick up a yard. Brees picking up the pace. He only had 49 yards at the end of the first quarter. He's got 199 so far. He's 24-34. The only time he's picked off, it was under deflection. But Cox didn't hang on. Perfect throw.
He's got time here. He can go to the middle of the field and call timeout. He doesn't have to go to the sideline. He goes in.
They work the lane, and they are short of the first down.
They're going to call timeout.
And Brees does. With 3 seconds left in the half, so they'll get the opportunity to tie it up before they go to the locker room. Mike Adamley, John Makovic standing by. Undefeated's falling today. Highlights as well from Florida LSU. Some great performances they'll be looking at. National Car Rental halftime report. Officially, they call that second one a 44-yarder. Both of his field goals, though, would have been good for better than 50.
Well, am I wrong, or is this going to be a 45-yard attempt?
I think you're on the money. Money.
Man, that has kind of a Twilight Zone feel to that. Go straight from 45. Wow. Interesting point brought up by someone, I don't know who. The kicker is 6'6". What a low kick he must have.
6'6", 190. True freshman Dorsch from Bozeman, Montana. Will they tie it up as we head to halftime? No. A duck hook. Doesn't matter. Offside call.
Doesn't matter. I think that Wisconsin called timeout. They did. They did. And once again, he's going to get a second chance. Wow. I tell you what, whatever he had for lunch, have it again, because the stars are in his favor.
You're not superstitious.
Put 3 seconds back on the clock, please.
And I believe it was Paul and Axe who said, men, in all things I perceive you're too superstitious, but in my particular Bible, the addendum says, with the exception of sports. So I think it's okay. There's Alvarez on the sidelines trying to get timeout because they didn't have enough people on the field, and then the ball is kicked, and all of a sudden they're thinking, oh no, wait, we didn't mean to. It's okay, he missed it.
Let it go.
But they got it. They got it, Coach.
They didn't see us, did they? So they use their final timeout. 3 seconds back on the board. Another try for Dorsch. Well, in the 11th hour reprieve from the governor. He's already gotten a break when he hit that other attempt from 50 yards away to hit at the top of the upright. And then he got the offside call against the corner man coming in, Fletcher.
Now here's the question that I would ask, Joel. With 5 seconds left from the 28-yard line, is Purdue going to run a fake? Of course not. So what difference does it make if you only got 10 guys in the field? Just let it go. But we'll see if it's costly. Might not be.
45-yard attempt out of the hold of Danny Rogers. Will he capitalize on the second try? Yes, he will. Plenty of leg into it. And it's all even in Wisconsin. The Twilight Zone continues. Homecoming night in Madtown. Time now for the National Car Rental halftime report. It's all even in Madison at 17.
So a tie game at 17 at the half between Wisconsin and Purdue back on that October night in 1998. And Mike, what you're trying to do in a game like this against an offense like Purdue's is avoid turning it into a shootout. We're seeing how good that Purdue offense can be, but Badgers able to capitalize a couple of short fields, including getting a special teams turnover that led to one of their touchdowns.
And in concert, what you just pointed out is that you were going to take a few punches and you wanted to counter punch. So Wisconsin got off to the fast start, and then Purdue controlled the final minutes of the half. Both teams are probably sitting in the locker room thinking about all the good things that they could kind of take advantage of in the second half while correcting some of the mistakes that were also made. It was just a good football game in front of an electric crowd.
Yeah, it definitely was an electric crowd that night. Seems like only yesterday for a lot of us who were at Camp Randall Stadium on that night. 17-17, the Badgers and Purdue. The second half is coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to present the University of Wisconsin Marching Band. Frank Sinatra, long acclaimed as the world's leading performer of popular music and an artist who set the mold for all others to fill, enjoyed a brilliant career that spanned nearly 5 decades. He was the voice, the chairman of the board, and established himself as a musician without peer. The Wisconsin band pays tribute to old Blue Eyes with a few songs that will forever be a part of the magic of Sinatra. Sinatra recorded Turn to Gold, and he put his own stamp of recognition on every ballad. Sinatra, singer, actor, recording artist, concert star, was bigger than life. He created a legacy of style and eloquence that is likely never to be matched. And he did it his way.
Thank you to NBC 15 for their support of the University of Wisconsin Marching Band. And fans, keep tuning in. At the conclusion of the game, enjoy a classic fifth quarter presented by American Family Insurance. Check out today's halftime highlights presented by the UW Credit Union.
He just hit a 53 on it. Hangs up a beauty. Deshaun Austin coming up short. It's on his fingertips from up front, and they get it inside the 10. The Badgers have the ball. Two tight end set will run the option. Short yardage. Samuel, he's in. Touchdown Badgers. And good gain on first down. Brees on the slant. Fox can't hold on. Intercepted. Picked off with a reflection. 20. The option for Samuel. Can he take it in again? Will they give it to him? Yes. Touchdown Wisconsin. Comes out the hold and lost it. And he drills it to the 25-yarder. It's all even in Madison at 17.
Thanks to the UW Credit Union for presenting today's halftime highlights.
We are ready as Jackson is back deep. But the kickoff clear out of the end zone. So the Boilermakers will have a first and 10, their own 23rd member of our team down on the sidelines, Dean Blevins. Dean?
Thanks, Joel. Todd was right on talking about rhythm, because that's just a moment ago what Barry Alvarez told me. He said we had Brees out of his rhythm for a while. We've got to mix it back up defensively and get him out of his rhythm here in the second half. He jokingly said, you know, we said we wanted a four-quarter game. I'd like to think we're going to get one. Joe Tiller on the other side, his team was very excited as they came off. They were aroused, feel like they had the momentum. And I said, how are you going to stop the option? He said, we've got to get our linebackers freed up, get them to scrape off and make plays on the quarterback.
All right, Dean, I think Barry Alvarez, when he said 4 quarters, I think he said 4 quarters. He wanted to go into a stall when he went up 17-6. Wisconsin on defense to start the second half. Purdue from their own 20. Grabbing at Chris Daniels. And what a difference in the first 15 minutes for Drew Brees, as we documented, in the second 15 minutes.
Well, as they say, that's why they play the games. It's 60 minutes, not just 15. In that first 15 minutes, it appeared that he was struggling a little bit. And as Barry Alvarez pointed out, certainly he got his rhythm there in the second quarter. 16 for 24, 135 yards and a touch.
Barry Alvarez also mentioned yesterday it's tough to simulate what Brees and Purdue does. It's like a wishbone. You can't simulate it in practice. You just try to adjust to it from the second quarter on.
What's surprising is they did it the other way around. The first quarter they stopped, the second quarter they stopped.
Badger across the 30 for a first down to the 31, wrapped up by Tom Burke, who slowed down in the second quarter and kept away from Brees for the most part.
Yeah, but don't think that young man isn't going to keep coming. I mean, he is relentless, and as the football cliche goes, he is the ever-ready bunny. He's got a motor that goes and goes.
Second team All Big Ten last year. He's already matched his sack total of 8 from last season. He's got 9 with 1 tonight. First and 10 from the 31. And a completion good for about 7. Going to Daniels for the second consecutive time. And looking at some of the numbers over the first 30 minutes of play.
Well, the turnovers seem to be costly for Purdue, but one of the things that stands out to me, normally I'm not a big time of possession guy, but as we pointed out, Wisconsin, that's their strength. They lead the Big Ten. Strange enough, because of the dominant second quarter, Purdue actually came out with more time of possession than the Badgers.
No 45s up there for some reason. Brees dropping it off underneath.
Brees pass complete to number 16.
Eric reserve running back out of Cleveland from St. Ignatius High School. But they do have the first down on the reception.
Now they go to a no huddle. Now they go to a no huddle because they want to take a little of the sting out of it. They want to do something different, shake them up so the defensive coordinator Kevin Cosgrove cannot make the substitutions he would need to make.
He's out of the shotgun, outside of his own 41, looking for other options now. Back into the middle. Randall Lane, wide receiver, led them with 8 catches in the first 30 minutes of play. That is number 9.
Good throw across his body. Again, Lane looked like he had a little more room to move than he thought. Again, going with the no huddle.
And you talked about the way they can't get the personnel possibly on the field with this no huddle situation. A room on the wide side of the field, big cushion over there. Yeah. Jake Cox couldn't hold on. Bernie got Drew Brees as he was releasing the ball. Still put it right in the hands of Cox again, though.
Again, yeah, that's certainly not his fault. He put the ball on the number. Get it, not numbers. See what they do there. Burke is the guy, though, from the left of the screen, the right of the screen, rather, is coming in. Light slips and falls down, but still, he's able to put the ball right there. And you gotta come up with that. You just do.
You know you got to start worrying when you start talking to yourself. You really do.
Well, again, some costly drops.
3rd and 5. From the 46. A little more than 5, almost 6. They show the blitz. Will they run out of time? Yes. Dead ball foul coming up. Delay of game on Purdue. One of the few errors by Brees tonight.
Once again, he slowed down just a little bit when he saw the free safety blitz. So even though it did not come to fruition in terms of hitting
delay
the quarterback
game
in the back,
on the offense,
5 yards.
Remains 3rd down.
Are you surprised, Todd, the knock against Brees in this offense? They don't try to go downfield, that they haven't tried to maybe throw a post once tonight?
Well, again, last week we had Kentucky. We had a similar situation, right? They said that Tim Couch can't throw the ball, can't throw the long ball, can't do this. And at the end of the game, the guy has 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't know what the problem is. As I said, they're three plays away from being undefeated. There's not a lot not to like about this kid.
Out of the shotgun, he needs a little more than 10. Pocket holds up well. To find a 3rd receiver, and what a catch. Unbelievable grab by Daniels.
Wow.
Giving up his body in the process, working against Jamar Fletcher.
They say that the line between courage and stupidity is razor thin. I have to say that in this case, not stupidity, but courage. Coming across the middle on the deep in route, hanging in there, good protection. Take a look at the protection. You're right, Joel. The pocket did hold up. Drills the ball. There's a catch. I know I'm going to get whacked. Able to hang on here, and with the hands, too. Great grab. I like it.
Got the first down on 3rd and about 11. Brees looking for the short one. This time, Cox hangs on. Going down to take it at the 34. And working that time.
Joel, coming into this game, Brees had hit 13 different receivers with passes. He spreads it around. It gives everybody the opportunity to catch the ball. Look at this tonight. So much fun to be a receiver in this offense.
And they lay on top of 11. 10 targets with Minnesota, 10 against USC. Crabtree cutting it back. Good yardage down to the 30. He's got a first down on 2nd and about 1.
I think that was just an opportunity for him to rest his arm. Joel, at this pace, we're looking at possibly 70 throws in this game. I mean, it's amazing.
He's definitely limber, though. It's a perfect night. Absolutely a magnificent night. It started out in the low 60s. Perfect football weather. He's talking about resting his arm. He's not going to have any problems. Something a 6th career start we emphasize for Drew Brees. On the gun, on the slant. Little turn in by Daniels. In fact, he had the other man, the slot man, on the slant. He didn't go in that direction. And he was working against Mike Eccles.
Once again, Eccles is victimized. Deep slant. In fact, a double slant. You know what? That wasn't that bad a coverage. Once again, that's a tremendous throw by Brees, just putting it where it needs to be.
And he had Cox, the other slant, the slot receiver available as well. 1st and 10 outside of the 16. Wide open. His favorite target so far in this drive, Chris Daniels. With 10. Just about 7 on first down, wrapped up at the outside backer, Bob Adamoff.
Once again, the inside receiver doing what he needs to, running the corner and taking the defense with him. And able to come underneath in that case is Daniels, who, as you pointed out, making some key catches in this drive.
They stay in the no huddle. To get through now on the field. Prisoner changes defensively. 2nd and about 3. It's knocked away from the intended target. Almost looked like a deflection as he was going for Gabe Cox. Good pressure on the quarterback.
One of the other things that the no huddle does is it takes away from the pass rush.
Down to the sideline, Dean.
Guys, you'll see 3 defensive linemen coming in. They couldn't change linemen a moment ago because they were in a fast no huddle offense. Defensive linemen were trying to get out, and their coaches were saying, "No, we can't. You got to hang in there."
Well, they finally huddle. So Kevin Cosgrove gets the fresh forces on. Critical play early. A little more than 3 minutes gone by in the 3rd quarter. It's 3rd and 3 in this tie ball game at 17 apiece. Brees, running at time into the end zone. And is it picked off? Yes, the interception is there. Coming up with an Eccles, a redshirt freshman from Youngstown, Ohio.
Great battle by Eccles on the deep slant. This is a great job, especially for a young man who's been victimized up to this point. crucial third down play. Boy, that's got to feel good. Ball thrown just a little bit behind. Take a look. You're going to see Eccles at the top of the screen. There's the deep slant. Throws the ball across. Look at that. Gives himself up, lays out, and comes up with the catch. Daniels might have battled a little bit to prevent the interception, but give Eccles credit, boy. Cuts in front and makes the play. How many times, Joel, do you see this? A defensive back does that, but the ball just falls to the ground. He makes a nice play by batting it down. Instead, Eccles shows some tremendous hands there.
Redshirt freshman, fastest on the team in the 40. Closed well on that pass, but as you mentioned, it was slightly behind the intended target, Daniels. So a break for Wisconsin from their own 20, getting back to a baby best, and that's Ron Dayne, but he is sliced down early, knifing in Colvin again. Got him with one arm.
One of the things that I've noticed here, Joel, is that in contemporary football, the size factor is not as big of an issue as it once was. Colvin playing defensive end at a relatively undersized situation at about 250, 255, but the man continues to make plays. So I don't care what the size is. If you can make plays, I'll put you in.
And both their ends, O'Keefer and Colvin, are both exactly 250. 164. That's Colvin, and O'Keefer is 6'5". 7 and 9 from the 21. When the tight end in motion. Standing on his way for 3 tough yards. As Mike Rose pulls down Ron Dayne.
Rundown number 4, Rose.
Eccles coming up with the big plays.
Number 98,
but the no huddle, very effective. The 20 all the way down to the 10, where it was 3rd and 3 before the ball was thrown behind.
4 yards on the carry.
The big offensive line for Wisconsin, we thought might be dominant at this point in the second half, starting to wear people down, but up to this point it hasn't happened. You got to give a lot of credit to the front 7 of Purdue and to Brock Spack for his game plan coming in.
Dayne with 57 yards thus far on 18 carries. Here comes the heat on Samuel, trying to strip it away. The sack is there as Colvin again has been all over the situation. Yes, that is his 3rd sack.
Now, Joel, here's the strange situation because he comes around a double team. They have a tight end and a tackle. Take a look. Here's the tight end. He steps back, and here's the tackle, and he doesn't get back quick enough. Colvin with great speed. That's the kind of angle right there that Derek Thomas takes, because Derek Thomas is a 4-5 kind of guy. I don't know what Colvin runs the 40, but it's playing fast enough to get to the QB.
And the punt away, Stemke. Sean Austin, the defensive back, picked down in a hurry. Great coverage downfield. The specials for Wisconsin. That was Joey Bose, the true freshman, Southern California.
The Wisconsin football dream season is presented by American Family Insurance. A special thanks to American Family Insurance for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
If we build this, all the legendary players will magically appear, and we'll have sports again. I call it the Field of Fame. Of course, I'll have to tear down the garage, fill in the pool, and lose the trees. So can I get a loan?
So as your friend, I love it, but as your banker, not so much.
Let me talk to the friend.
You could always invest in a college fund.
No, my kids aren't going to college. They're going to work at the stadium.
Our kids are going to college.
Sports are back.
My wife wants to build a college.
And not a moment too soon.
Get ready, Badger fans. It's time for a classic, Ask the Badgers, presented by Toyota.
I'd say who I would want to play me doesn't look like me in any aspect, but Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'd have to say Kevin James, just because he's a comedian, and I think I'm pretty funny sometimes.
Ooh, who would play me? I say Bow Wow.
Bow Wow? Oh, I honestly don't know who would play me. I say, I could say Caesar Williams. Probably that boy know everything about me, so I say Caesar.
I'm gonna have to go with Tormund Dragonsbane from Game of Thrones. He has a great beard, great personality, awesome fighter, so I'd have to go with him.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, totally. We got that all right action going on.
Today's classic Ask the Badgers was presented by Toyota. A special thanks to Toyota for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers. Presented by Toyota. A special thanks to Toyota for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Welcome back once again to jam-packed Camp Randall Stadium. Joel Myers along with Todd Christensen, Dean Blevins down on the sideline. 9:41 left in the third. Purdue has been hurting themselves with turnovers, mistakes, penalties, that we saw in the first half. 3 turnovers in the game. Handoff barely got the Crabtree. Brees with the flag coming out as well from the line from the far side on 1st and 10 to 36. Almost a busted play. And a break again on the penalty against Wisconsin.
Well, the offensive juggernaut that Purdue has produced up to this point in the season now is really rolling in earnest.
Offside on the defense, 5 yards, still first down.
See right there the Big Ten rank, Joe. As I mentioned, the completion percentage is a big issue, but of course passing yards per game. And of course the real issue there is getting it in the end zone, and Brees has proven he can do that. Tonight you see the numbers in the bottom, 68% even better.
In the last drive, they moved it 70 yards, beat themselves with a pick in the end zone. So get their own 20 down to the 10 and convert on 3rd and 3. It's Randall Lane. Diving to the 45, short of first down by a yard. First season at Purdue for Lane in a career night in receptions, double digits.
Now this is a great opportunity for Purdue if he sees it in the no huddle. Wisconsin is getting closer and closer. Receivers trying to take over those 5- and 6-yard routes. It's going to be a good opportunity for Brees to go upfield.
2nd and a yard. Lane now 12 catches, 103 yards. Crabtree running down the play. He was on to see a holding call. He's got more than enough for the first down. Bobby Myers making the stop in the secondary.
I think you're right though, Joel. That's what it is.
On the grab. Talking about the mistakes, not only the turnovers, but the penalties as well for Joe Tiller's squad.
And especially costly 2nd and 1. I mean, now suddenly
Holding
2nd and 11, you got to do something.
On the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still 2nd down.
Out of the sideline once again, Dean Blevins.
Guys, Kevin Cosgrove was talking to his defensive line a while ago and talking about disrupting Brees. He said, you got to get your hands up. We're going to try to make him bring the ball down and run. He says, you got to suck it up. We'll give you a blow when we can. But they're trying to disrupt the quarterback by getting their hands up more than they have earlier in the ball game.
They've got some big guys. You bring up a good point because they're 6'4", 6'5" up front. And Brees at 6'1". The dump off. To Crabtree making a nice move and picking up the first down.
Brees pass
I want to give Brees credit for this, but they have the right play called. Wisconsin decides 2nd and long to come with the blitz. The blitzer is supposed to have the back end covered. Here the blitz is going to come. He's going to come out like this, and nobody has it. And the result is he's got a lot of AstroTurf to work with. Makes a nice cut back against the grain and gets the first down.
Got into the midfield stride, 1st and 10, caught at the 49 for Brees. 8 and a play. Left in the 3rd. Brees putting it back under. He wanted to go downfield across the middle, his 2nd target, maybe even his 3rd. And another first down as it's taken in by Randall Lane for the 13th time tonight. Big gadget works for the Wildcats. Now going deep downfield for the first time. It's taken in after a run for Eccles, but the wide receiver was out of bounds once he finally got it. Cliff Jackson. Talk about a crazy play on the far side boundary.
One of the things that Drew Brees has proven tonight is his ability to throw it from a lot of different angles. There you saw that was a crossing up. Here's the crossing up, throwing on the run, off the back foot, off the front foot. Improvisation, making the reads. The young man has shown, as you pointed out, Joel, in just his 6th start of his true sophomore season, a 19-year-old, that he can play at this level and excel.
One thing I like, he doesn't play favorites. And granted, Lane's got 13 catches tonight, but he has spread the ball around.
Now, I know this is a small point, but I noticed this when he was sitting down. You can see right there, already tied up Purdue left with 35 position. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to break it tonight.
Why? Why would you say that? 7:59 left in the 3rd. Maybe that's why. The receiver fell down on 2nd and 10. Tried to get it to Lane again.
Well, the way this is going, Lane could come up with 20 balls. It's just astonishing how he continues to go there. And Tiller a little bit frustrated there simply because of the fact that a long blade of AstroTurf came up and tripped him.
Purdue right now with 342 yards of total offense compared to only a $132, 132 for Wisconsin yet. We are tied at 17. We're looking at a 3rd and 10. Badgers 38. They need, if they can't get the first down, they need about 4 or 5 for a field goal drive for George, trying to get the first lead of the night. Brees out of the shotgun. 2 to each side. The crossing pattern available. Downfield lane. Short under a little bit with the free safety. Doring coming over.
You called it, Joel. That's exactly what happened. I'm not sure that would have been a catchable ball anyway, but still, Doring comes over and delivers the blow. You're going to see it right here on the in route. Comes across deep in, plants, comes there, right there, short, just a little bit. You can see he short arms it, looks, knows that he's going to get hit. What they used to, when I was playing for the Raiders, Al Davis used to refer to Jack Tatum as an obstructionist. That's the case with Williams as an obstructionist.
Rodgers trying to boots it inside the 10. Roscoe lets it go over his head. Will find the end zone. Saved by the Boilermakers. And it looked like Cliff Jackson got down there first to bat it back. So Rodgers gets the job done to help the special team.
One of the things there is definitely you got to know where you are on the field. You let the ball bounce, you let it bounce just a little bit too soon. And give credit to the Purdue special teams guys right on top of it, flipping it back. Bad field position for the Badgers.
It's time to recognize today's healthcare hero, presented by UW Health. The UW Athletic Department thanks healthcare heroes who are meeting the challenge of COVID-19 head-on. Workers from all areas of healthcare are stepping up and inspiring others as they work together during this difficult time. Many outstanding frontline nurses are working hard to serve our community during this pandemic, including today's healthcare hero, UW Health registered nurse, Stacy Schrimpf. Thank you, Stacy Schrimpf, for your dedicated efforts, and a special thanks to UW Health for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Because of this, we made Ford Super Duty the most capable heavy-duty pickup ever. Because of this, we built Ford F-150 with 375 horsepower and best-in-class payload.
Rescue 614 en route.
Because of this, we built Ford Ranger with the terrain management system. And because Ford trucks are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand.
Odyssey Brands and the Wisconsin Badgers are teaming up this dream season to once again present the Odyssey Badger Kid Program. Enter your favorite junior Badger fan for a chance to win recognition during our Wisconsin Dream Season broadcasts and a commemorative Badger Kid prize pack courtesy of Odyssey Brands. Enter today at uwbadgers.com/Badger Kid. Odyssey Brands are proud to say made in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Find game day inspired appetizers, sides, and main dishes at odysseybrands.com.
I don't think he needs to shave quietly. On his 6th career start, Drew Brees on the phone talking to the coordinator. They've done everything in the third quarter but score. And now, Wisconsin has a deep in their territory. Henry Bell, the cornerback, made a great play on the special teams to knock it back. From the 4, Samuel getting off Dayne. Dayne, not much available, only with the 6 for a couple. 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter, and Wisconsin's looking for the first down.
I don't know if
of the second half.
I was about to say, I don't know if they're too concerned about turning the ball over here, but this might be a good opportunity for them to go with that weak side option that had been so effective in the first half.
They come to the near side, the short side of the field on that weak side play by Samuel. The reason they scored 2 touchdowns. One from 16, the other from 9 yards away.
Maybe this is a small point, Joel, but Coach Barry Alvarez did not have headphones in the first half. Now he's apprised of them.
Samuel in trouble. Always running when he gets him to 10. Short first down by 4. It's not like a Breeze looking for a second or third option. He doesn't have his primary. Usually is tucked under by Mike Samuel.
Plus the fact that in protecting him, they usually have 2 in the pattern anyway. And so as a result, you know, his tucking it and going, in this case, certainly wasn't a bad play. Now they come about 3rd and 4.
He's the reason they're tied at 17. His exploits in the first 15 minutes of play. He joined us a little bit late. He dominated early when they couldn't move the football. He got it done on his own. But they're only 2 of 8 on 3rd down tries. Dayne stays in the backfield with Mike. Shut him down for the most part. And an early second half timeout is burned by the senior, Mike Samuel. Come back and find out what the Badgers do.
Pay attention, Badger fans. It's time for the Badger Helmet Shuffle, presented by Pepsi. Looks like helmet number 2 was the correct choice today. Thanks for playing the Badger Helmet Shuffle, and a special thanks to Pepsi for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
At Kohl's, shopping is easier than ever. Drive up and we'll bring your order to you. Or buy online and get free store pickup. Use contactless payment through Kohl's Pay. And we'll pack and ship your Amazon returns for free. Shop any way you'd like at Kohl's.
Listen to News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and 101.5 WIBA FM. Or take the Badgers anywhere you go for free on the iHeart Radio app. News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and 101.5 WIBA FM. Your radio home for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Good Foods Group is celebrating the Wisconsin Badgers dream season by continuing their Sack Hunger campaign, making a contribution to No Kid Hungry for each historical sack. As a family-owned and Wisconsin-based company, Good Foods strives every day to better serve our community, our customers, and our world with simple, safe, delicious food. You can sack hunger with game day goodness by picking up Good Foods' no artificial anything guacs at your local Pick and Save store, via Instacart, or online at shop.goodfoods.com.
Wisconsin Badgers have to feel fortunate that they are tied on homecoming night in Madison. Haven't done much offensively since early in the contest. Dylan Chambers in motion on 3rd and 4. Samuel, will he run for it? He'll try, but his decision a little bit tardy. He had that seam available to get the 4 yards, but he waited as Roosevelt Colvin didn't get the sack, but he got him from behind. Sacks aplenty for Colvin tonight. He's already got 3.
Well, it's the first time, Joel, that they went with 4 receivers in the pattern. They get the 4 receivers in the pattern, including the tight end. I thought they were going to find somebody. They had man coverage to produce credit. They had them all covered.
Stepke, healthy 43-yard average from his own goal line. Bombs out another beauty. Austin, the junior from Liberty, Missouri, over to the offside. Did he make the first man miss? Yes. Good yardage. Still on his feet. 50 moves to the 43-yard line. So Austin would put one on the ground and turn into a touchdown. Gives them great field position as Thompson made the special teams tackle. From the 44, 1st and 10, Brees out the front, moving the pocket by design. Back over the middle, and the shot on Cox. Did he hold on? No. The pop again by the safety, the center fielder, Doring.
Flag is down. I really like the way this young man plays. Coming into this game, one of the leaders in this secondary with 34 tackles. He also had 2 interceptions and a couple of tackles for loss.
It'll go against the Boilermakers once again.
You know what, though, Joel? I'm not so sure they want to accept that one. I'd say take the downs away. Don't let this kid get another chance to throw.
Ineligible downfield on the offense. Penalty declined.
Yeah. Good move.
2nd down.
It's only a 5-yard mark off anyway, as opposed to 10 yards.
Get a chance to hear this hit that Doring delivers.
Crowd felt it. You could hear them in the background. Oh, felt that way up here too. 2nd and 10. That's field position. Start a drive. Quarterback draw for Brees. Trying to use the stiff arm, but he won't get away from the linebacker, Godorsey. To the marker for the first down as it's taken in once again by Chris Daniels.
Joel, I think they're a little bit short because Daniels, in coming back to catch the ball, had to slide and get his hands underneath. I think if he'd been able to catch the ball standing up, maybe he could have gone back, but at the slide, coming up with a catch, I think they're just a little bit short, about 2 football lengths.
You got the call. It'll be less than a yard for Joe Tiller and his offensive unit.
And let's not forget, Joel, this offense isn't exactly designed to pound it in between the tackles, 4th and very short. This will be interesting.
So they will go for 52-yard field goal attempt from Travis Dorsch, who's at 3 tonight from right at 45. Crabtree. They gave him a real generous spot, though. coming inside the 34, and that's where he needed to go. He got a break on the spot. But I still think he might be short by a few inches.
Well, he is short. I'm pretty sure he's only about 5'10", but as for the play, it appeared that he was able to get over the top, and I think you're right. I think he is not quite there with the first down.
Favre got to him early. And he was short. You brought up a good point, though. They don't pound people to begin with. So why not try to get it outside the tackle?
Well, one of the things that I've noticed that when it first became in vogue, the run and shoot that was in the early 90s with the Houston Oilers, one of the things that they did is they stayed with their 4 wide receiver package. You can see underneath the pile, making the play, taking the legs out, was John Favre. But the issue that I'm talking about is that once you jam people in, that means the other people get to come in too. So when you go to 4 wide receiver set, that takes away the run support. And you've got one-on-one blocking. So I still don't understand that, especially as you pointed out to a team that's not accustomed to that in the first place.
There is a great field position now. It'll be a turnaround for Wisconsin, starting from their own 34. Toss towards on the field with Knight. As Billy Gustin, the free safety, rode him down early.
But once again, there's Colvin in the backfield causing some problems.
Back down to the sideline, Dean.
Ron Dayne was injured a little bit on the first series. Remember he was nicked when he was on the bottom of a pile, and he has not been as effective tonight as I know that Barry Alvarez would have wanted him to be. 18 carries for some 65 yards, and not many of them after being hit. He's a guy that really they were hoping yards after contact would be much bigger than what they are tonight.
Tough night at 3 a try for Ron Dayne. Samuel on the play fake. Tight end was free, but it was well overthrown. And then a shot again from Gustin on the tight end. John Sigmund that time.
Well, again, those are the kind of touch passes that if you throw the ball a lot, you can make. Down the middle, he had what he wanted, even though he takes a whack. But the ball severely overthrown.
But it goes back to what we were talking about at the very top of the telecast, the limitations in throwing the football with Mike Samuel. He's not a real consistent passer. They know that going in, and he only averages 13 passes a game.
Clint Eastwood, Magna Force. Man's got to know his limitations. Right?
How many do I have in the revolver?
You're lucky puncher.
3rd and 9 outside the 35. 3 minutes left. In the corner, Samuel in trouble. The screen for Dayne with a flag on each side of the field. Dayne has the first down, and then a flag deep out of the secondary. It's not purple, Rain, it's yellow.
Good call. Good call by Wisconsin coming with the screen. They had not run one, I don't believe, in this game this evening.
Purdue is saying it's going to be against Wisconsin. Well, there are 3 markers down. Each linesman put 1 down.
We remain tied as we're getting deeper into the third quarter. Both teams playing some pretty good defense here, but Mike, we go back to Wisconsin's defense. The game plan going in. Be patient, as hard as that can be against an offense like Purdue's, but keep the ball in front of you, and they're doing a good job of that.
Now also consider the youth of the starting corners, both Mike Eccles and Jamar Fletcher, who is now going by the name of Jamar Israel, were redshirt freshmen. So a little more difficult for them to stay patient when a lot of passes were completed in front of them, in particular to a Randall Lane, who was not a household word or name to anybody in the league, but on this night he would become one because he became the favorite target of Drew Brees.
Yeah, a lot of patience, a lot of discipline, and as the third quarter continues to move along, the Badgers are hoping that discipline will pay off.
Be a 10-yard penalty, but they did not accept that, as of course that was downfield and would have been pointed a foul. Hence the reason why taking the lesser penalty.
Got it 3rd and almost 15. There's no 2 for 9. Here comes the end, and Samuel goes down. The sack this time coming from O'Keefe. His first of the night. A loss of 11 and a 4th overall. Colvin's got 3 of the 4. O'Keefe with his first. The senior from Lafayette, Indiana.
Brad Childress talked about the fact that they were really concerned with their defensive ends, and rightly so. I mean, it's a bad dream realized in his case. Both Colvin and O'Keefe have just been giving fits to the offensive line of Wisconsin.
Stemke, busiest one for the Badgers tonight to Deshaun Austin. Spun around. to the 45-yard line.
Great atmosphere here in Madison. Just terrific here at Camp Randall.
That's what college football is all about. It was a perfect situation. From the 45, Fletcher struggling his way to the 47 for a couple. Trying the left side. So neither team could do anything with a great field position. First, at the Wisconsin 44 for Purdue, the crowd has been taken out of it to a certain extent by Purdue because they've owned the second and third quarters.
Now interesting sprinting off the field with the shoe defensive tackle, and they have to make a substitution quickly because Purdue has gone with the no huddle.
Purdue looking at 7 and 8. Picked up. You can see it coming. Jamal Fletcher should go the distance. To the 15, to the 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin. The former high school quarterback, Jamar Fletcher, from Hazelwood East in St. Louis, victimizes Drew Brees.
Tell us what you remember beyond what you just said. I mean, the place went crazy. Jamar had this knack of making the really big play in the big moment. Take us through it as best you remember what you saw.
Yeah, I mean, it was along the Badger sidelines, and I think that might have been maybe a skinny post or a stop dig route, and Jamar just jumped on it. You know, they were stopping a lot, and so he was being as good as he is. It gave him the ability to be a little bit closer to that receiver, not have to worry about giving up the big play because he was athletic enough to do it. And I mean, he just pounced on it, and it was daylight. And not only was it daylight, but Tom Burke was in front of him, which gives you a lot more daylight for anybody from Purdue that might be looking to tackle you. So, I mean, it was set up, and it actually looked like it ended up being a foot race between Tom Burke and Jamar Fletcher to the goal line. But the whole game, the night game, and that's what you live for as a player. It was homecoming. Obviously, we didn't know jump around was going to happen, but it makes that night that much more epic. Listen, there's nothing that beats Camp Randall from a night game standpoint. I mean, outside of that game, the only game that I have envy of not playing in was the first time Nebraska came, and I came as a fan. It was that type of atmosphere, and so to experience both sides of it, there's nothing like Wisconsin fans at a night game.
No, it's 24-17 for the Badgers.
It is amazing, only 130 yards offensively tonight for Wisconsin yet. They have 24 points on the board. Joel Reisler with Todd Christensen. Dean Blevins down to the sideline. We're in Madison, homecoming Saturday night. This time they've had homecoming for a night game. Jackson is staying in the end zone upon the urging with Randall Lane. And make it to Sean Austin instead. Drew Brees done everything but get into the end zone tonight for Joe Tiller. 36 of 56 passing, 315 yards. He's been picked off in the end zone, just victimized by Fletcher. Returned for a score. They've turned it over 4 times tonight, and that translates into 21 of the 24 points for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Well, you know what? At the top, or about a quarter ago, I guess it was, we showed the statistics for Wisconsin defensively. One thing that stands out in the 5 games prior to this game, Joe, Wisconsin had only given up 3 touchdowns. So yeah, they might give up some yards, but the defense does make some big plays, as witnessed by what just happened.
On the fake, Brees moving the pocket, doing a great job to sidestep. Losing the football, Daniels, but it goes out of bounds. Make it Isaac Jones, the wide receiver. A break as it does go out of bounds. Close to the first down. It's almost another giveaway. Could have been the 5th of the night.
Difficult situation where the quarterback is rolling left and he's right-handed, but as you pointed out, does a great job in showing his escapability to deliver the ball.
Purdue is dominated between the 20s.
See, that statistic that you see right there, that should tell you that Purdue should be up by 2 touchdowns. But instead, because of the turnovers, as you pointed out, Wisconsin leading this game by 7.
Time into the third quarter. 24-17 Badgers. Badger 50 moves over the secondary. Good job to get it across the 40. And a first down. Doring, the free safety, finally spinning him around. That last drive and the telegraph.
Well, that was just handing it to him. But Fletcher's got to feel pretty good about himself because he, like his partner, Eccles has been picked on. But even being picked on, they've had their moments now, both with big interceptions. One to stop a drive and another one to deliver them an easy 6 points.
Let's not forget Fletcher made a mistake. He was offside on a field goal attempt that was missed. And then on their second chance after the mark off the foul, they got it. Quickly. And a first down to Gabe Cox all the way inside the 40 with possibly a late hit flag coming or a face mask at the end of the play.
Well, if it's a late hit, it's going to be on the blocker for Purdue, and that certainly makes no sense at the end, especially as well as they've been going. You're right, Joel. It's got to be that or a face mask.
Personal foul against the Boilermakers on that late hit.
See, again, it makes no sense because the play is completely dead. An offensive lineman hustles downfield, wants to get a whack of a guy who's slowed down.
After the first down, dead ball, personal foul, 15 yards against the offense. It will be 1st and 10.
So they get essentially 1st and 10 with a 3-yard gain out at the 45. But Joe Taylor can't be very happy about this. They get the people in front because this is the screen so effective. Now he goes down. Watch at the end. Standing around the pile is number 34, and he just gets clobbered. That's Leonard Taylor who gets whacked by Brandon Gorin, and that's one I'm sure he wishes that he had back. If you watch those films of Steve Wisniewski, your guy.
Tough on those Raiders, the former team. Very tough.
Well, he had that reputation, but I think in his case, a lot of times, he did some good things. And he made some laughs, but people didn't like him.
Number 47, Crabtree, again dancing his way. Good yardage on first down. This Wisconsin defense you just mentioned, they've only given up 3 touchdowns so far this season of the first 5 games. They've only given up 1 tonight. 3 field goals account for the 17 points and that 1 score against the Badgers. They come in ranked 5th in the nation in total defense, 7th best in the country against the run, and they're only giving up 9.5 points a game. So,
Purdue is getting so many offensive plays. I think Crabtree's got to be close to 20 carries. Once again, the numbers are deceiving.
So the defense getting moved around a little bit, but also coming up with a big play when they need them for the Badgers. It's a lead in the second half as we get ready for the start of the 4th quarter. Will it be a successful homecoming night? We'll find out as we come right back to Madison. Badgers leading by 7.
The University of Wisconsin is pleased to partner with the American Family Children's Hospital. We salute all patients and their families during today's Dream Season game. A special thanks to American Family Insurance for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers. It's that time, Badger fans. It's time for the great student section race, presented by UW Continuing Studies.
upper deck has been known to sway on occasion to Camp Randall Stadium.
You mentioned jump around. I mean, that's where it was born, at least as a big deal at Camp Randall. I know you didn't know it was coming that night, but as locked in as you are, I would think during a game, did you take that in? Did you notice what was happening when that song was being played that night?
Yeah, I was just having this conversation with Mark Tauscher recently about having no fans, right, in the NFL. And, I always found the game was a little bit quiet when you're on the field, right? There's so many things that you're concentrating on. So it's you don't hear it a lot. Maybe that's just a defensive thing. That was a night that definitely was not the case. And when it did happen and you looked up and you just saw a sea of red and the student section going up and down, I think there was initial concern of, hey, can we handle that, right, from a stadium standpoint? I'm not an engineer, but I don't know if it was designed for that to happen. But then it was the awe of how cool that was, and just to see it under the lights and look up and see the black sky behind it. I feel very blessed that I was able to have a part in that and see the first time that it happened, and for that tradition to go on and become what it has around the country. And you see other stadiums try to mimic that, and they try to do it too, and you're kind of like, listen, that's not yours, that's ours. come up with something else.
I ran into some guys in New York that claimed that they were the ones that started. 4 guys from a fraternity just started jumping, and people in back of them jumped, and people next to them, and then that's how it all took off. I don't know if it's true or not, but they take credit for it.
Yardage running the football in the second half for the 35, and that's one of the biggest surprises, the way they've been able to run the football. Going outside of his tackle, Bryant, the true freshman from St. Louis, and Dory making the stop.
But once again, here's a situation where Wisconsin has 6, sometimes not even that in the box. They're having to spread things out, and Crabtree has to get these numbers. I'm surprised here, Joel, that they aren't staying with the no huddle as Crabtree now 16 carries for 73 yards. I thought they were fatiguing Wisconsin a little, but I think because of the interception, they've opted not to do that.
25 first downs for the Boilermakers, trying to make it 26 on 3rd and 3. And over the middle, the receiver pounced on, losing the football. It looks like a recovery by the lineman.
But the recovery,
Purdue, and they may say it's already down.
Well, Joel, the recovery by the lineman, I think, is going to be a little bit short, even though he did come up with the ball. One of the situations, again, for receivers, he has to be cognizant of where he is on the field. Now, he makes the catch. Don't make the catch. Now fall down or head forward. Instead, he goes east and west. He gets whacked. The ball comes loose. And Johnny on the spot in that case, I believe, was Brandon Gorin. And they are going to be short. Now they got to think of another way to get the first down as opposed to just going up the middle. They might want to spread their people out and just quarterback sneak.
Drew Brees is tying a Purdue record. His 60 attempts so far tonight. We still have 13:39 left.
Until he's already broken the completion record.
Last week, he caught it at 22 yards. That was the single game yardage record. Fourth and a yard. They failed on 4th and 1 when they started the drive to Wisconsin 44 just a couple of possessions ago. This is from their own 20. They started this drive. 4th and less than 1, a tight formation. Crabtree stopped up again right at the line.
I don't understand, again, simply because you got the quarterback that you have. He bootlegs or does anything else, and once again at the bottom of the pile is Favre making life miserable. I think you're right, Joel. I think he might be short.
Will they be 0 for 2 on 4th down tonight?
Yeah, that mark clearly is short. You see how fired up the defense is. As inventive and creative as Joe Tiller is,
Kevin Cosgrove.
Those are just painfully predictable on those 2 4th down plays.
Kevin Cosgrove, emphatic, like, get the defense over here. You got it, guys.
Yep.
So they hold on 4th and short. I wondered about a field goal the first time because it would have been on a 50-yarder. This time it would have been then you're only down by a point.
No, I mean, there's a situation where you certainly do have to go for it. It's just that when the last time wasn't effective and you come with the exact same play, you got to be thinking to yourself, why not spread things out, let it roll out, do something else, try anything.
Wisconsin has yet to pick up a first down in the second half. This is their 5th possession. We're majoring in bringing out with a punt. Steady. Guy's been busy. Sophomore punter. Chambers in motion. Dayne across the 35. Not much of a factor. Held to 3 yards to carry tonight. Only 2.5, 3 at that time. Paulie Dixon goes in 6'5", 210. He's on the other side. Second and long. Second and about 7. Pressure on Samuel, but underneath the tight ends available. Eric Graham's that time. The senior, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. His first catch of the night. Second catch by the tight ends of recently used Retzlaff, Graham's, and Sigmund.
A little misdirection in that case. He makes a nice catch. The ball is just about at his shoe tops. Good pursuit on the part of Purdue, now coming up third, about 1.5 yards.
Stays in the backfield as the signal. Don't show too many formations. Sanders to the wide side of the field. Dayne with the option for Samuel into the secondary. Look at him go. The wide receiver wanted to give him a block. He won't quit on it. He's got the 38. So when in need, he calls his own number. It always works.
One of the 10th first down. The first in this half, as you pointed out, and this play arguably, well, not even arguably, it has been the most effective play of the evening, and that has been the option weak side. Cuts up here. Now, this is interesting. Most quarterbacks slide, lowers the shoulder, and it's the defensive back who can't drop it. Samuel may not be pretty, but he's getting the job done.
If Merritt could give him a block downfield, you saw number 1 scrambling, tried to do anything to give him a block, he could have gone to the distance. Still huffing and puffing as he comes to the line. 53 yards on the ground. And now looking to the big one with Chambers. Diving and he can't get to it. Battling for position with Deshaun Austin, the defensive back. But aware of the ball all the time.
I like the call by Brad Childress here. Finally decided that he wants to go up top, but the ball is severely underthrown. Austin falls down. Chambers tries to make a great catch, but just can't do it.
How many times do you see your quarterback in the fourth quarter with 4 yards rushing, throwing? That's the case for Mike Samuel tonight. It's 5 of 10 for 44 yards passing.
Is that a rhetorical question?
Don't see it too often.
Well, you asked me. I said how many times. I was about to tell you.
Well, 37, second and 10. Samuel again. Into the 33. So it'll be 4th and 6 coming up. And they have one of the best place kickers in the nation, leading by 7. So it'll be 3rd down. I might have mentioned before, 3rd down at about 6 or 7 coming up. But Davenport to the sideline, and you're already up by 7. Make it a 2-score game with 11 minutes left. They play close to the vest here.
Well, he still needs to get a couple of yards, Joel. They throw incomplete here. You're looking at about a 51, 52-yard attempt, and that's hardly a gimme. So they need to do something here.
Well, run if you get 3 or 4 yards. They will with Dayne diving inside the 30. He's got it to the 28, but he's short of the first down, and now it is going to be just about a 45-yard attempt coming up for Davenport if they go in that direction.
I'm sorry, how far?
That number again. It's either the outer limits of the twilight zone each time we work together.
Well, but then again, here you go. You got Ron Dayne, okay? You've got Ron Dayne and a 45-yarder. Even though, as you pointed out, Davenport has been perfect this year, I think that they like the fact that they've got a big offensive line and a 253-pound tailback that should be able to get 1.5 yards. And they're going to call timeout and think it over.
1 timeout remaining in the contest now for Barry Alvarez. Decisions. We'll find out what they do. Will they go for 3 or the 4th and short?
The Wisconsin football dream season is presented by American Family Insurance. A special thanks to American Family Insurance for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
About this car since you were 8 policy from American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Do you miss jumping around at Camp Randall? Well, American Family Insurance is on your team, and they're a fan of your dreams. Head over to amfam.com/Badgers for your chance to win 2021 season tickets, including one VIP football game day experience like no other. A special thanks to American Family Insurance for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Welcome back once again to magnificent Madison. Joel Myers, Todd Christensen, Dean Blevins. It would have been an easy call for me. I would have gone for 3 with Matt Davenport, first team All Big Tenner last year. But Barry Alvarez is making the decisions, and he is going for it on 4th and short. It'll be 4th and a little more than a yard. Two tight end set. Samuel with Dayne. He's got it. Throws it down inside the 20.
It's a great job by Samuel here because coming off the corner is Billy Gustin. Billy Gustin comes off the corner and is right in his face. Samuel may have you're going to see it right there, just right in his face. He gets it off. The run support from the inside isn't there, and Dayne is able to make the first down. You know, at the end of this game, you're going to look at Samuel's statistics and not be altogether impressed, but he's made some good decisions, particularly, or especially, I should say, on the option.
Every time they've needed a big play, it's been the option to the short side of the field. Dayne breaking tackles out of the backfield for 4 to the 16. It's interesting. They know it's coming, but they have not been able to shut down the option to the short side of the field.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Well, here's the issue now for Wisconsin, and that is it's important not for them to cough the ball up. They can run Dayne a couple of times, and even if they just have to kick the field goal, as you pointed out, that forces Purdue to score twice with less than 10 minutes in the ball game.
They're looking at 2nd and 6. This drive started back in their own 33. It's taken just about 4 minutes off the clock now. Didn't have a first down until this drive in the second half. Dayne under the leg. Good yardage. All the way down to the 10. He's short of the first down by less than a yard. Rumbling over Willie Fells, the middle linebacker.
Hard to assess as to whether or not people are a little bit disheartened, but if you produce defense, you know, you've really held Ron Dayne in check. You've done everything that's been asked of you. I mean, offensively, the only thing they've been able to get is they got the 2 options, but those are the byproducts of turnovers. It's not like they had to drive a long way. I mean, you've held this team to less than 200 yards of total offense. There's got to be a little bit of frustration on the part of Brock Spack and his troops.
Touchdown now would be such a crusher for the Boilermakers, a young squad, led by a sophomore quarterback. Inside of 9 minutes left, already trailing by 7. 3rd less than a yard, Samuel. Balls are showed number once again, why not? He's got it down to the 8, 1st and goal. It hasn't been pretty, but the key is Wisconsin hasn't beaten themselves.
Well, the big issue here has been the defense of Wisconsin coming up with some very big plays. The defense has really been the star for Wisconsin.
The non-conference schedule, not a great one. In fact, this is the first game for Alvarez in Wisconsin where they have faced a team this season with a winning record. And an opportunity to go 6-0 coming into the tournament. Sanders the motion now on 1st and goal. Dayne plows his way inside the 5. Taking dribble down to the 1. He's a load at 253. Fells tried to take care of him. Takes more than 1.
Well, the right side of the offensive line in that case was starting to move some people out.
We mentioned it's not a big group for Purdue to begin with up front.
Well, but it is a big group for Wisconsin, as you just pointed out. 6'7", 370 pounds, pulls out, pushes people. Look at the red shirts. Pushing people out, and as you mentioned, Dayne. 3 people with him, and he still nearly gets into the end zone.
Well, the extra time out as the play is not coming in on time from the sideline. So now the Badgers, hard to believe, booze homecoming night, about to go in for the decisive score, leading by 7, but that's the case with Barry Alvarez.
For news and updates about the Badgers, watch the Badgers Sports Report. Tune in Sunday mornings at 10:30 for exclusive features and interviews, insight, and more. The Badger Sports Report, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on NBC 15 in Madison.
Compeer Financial has always been there for our clients and communities in any situation.
And our support continues today as our clients work relentlessly to feed, clothe, and fuel the world. Compeer is proud to continue our strong commitment to our clients, the rural communities where they live, and to agriculture. We're here to help meet the financial needs of rural America, and we'll navigate through this together.
Fans, keep tuning in and enjoy a classic fifth quarter presented by American Family Insurance.
Badgers of Wisconsin taking 5.5 minutes off the clock on this current drive. Man, they're looking at second and goal from inside the one. A huge one. Gibson led the way last time for Ron Dayne. They're able to punch it in. Martin's back in the game. Dayne easily over the top. Ron Dayne with his first score of the evening. And it also featured some of his biggest runs of the night, some of his longest, his current drive. It culminated with a touchdown. Insurance for the Badgers, leading by only 7 at that point, trying to make it a 14-point lead.
Well, once again, you can only, this is a tough back. He's one of the premier backs in the nation. And you can only hold him off so long. Still, he's under 100 yards.
Davenport with the extra point try. He splits the uprights.
It's time to check out today's Images of Game Day, presented by Johnsonville. Those great images from today's Dream Season game were presented by Johnsonville. A special thanks to Johnsonville for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Really like your backyard, man.
There's nothing to the east, so I can do this all day.
No, Patrick. East is that way.
Oh, man, that's not good.
With Hy-Vee Aisles Online, it's easy to order online and pick up everything you or your neighbors might need.
Sorry about your hot dogs. All right. It won't happen again.
Okay. Hy-Vee Aisles Online, convenient pickup, and we deliver too.
The COVID-19 pandemic has created challenging and unprecedented times as we seek to remain a leader in every aspect of our department. Now more than ever is the time we need your support. Please consider making a gift to help the Badgers continue raising trophies, developing student athletes that make us proud, and keep the world watching when we jump around.
quiet night for huge running back Ron Dayne of the Wisconsin Badgers. Only a junior at 253 pounds. It's kicked away up the far side. Cliff Jackson will bring it back from his own 2. They need a big play. And make it to Sean Austin instead of Jackson back there across the 20, up to only the 22 for a return of 20 yards. Only 3 yards to carry for Ron Dayne tonight until that last drive. They peeled off a couple of long ones. Brees running out of racing room. Going to be underthrown, unfortunately. Well underthrown. Finally, there was heat in the face with Drew Brees.
He was throwing that away. Really, the key plays of the game have to be defensively, Joel, for Wisconsin.
They took almost 6 minutes off the clock on that drive to go up by 2 touchdowns, but this Badger defense, as you mentioned, came in tonight, number 5 of the nation, giving up just about 10 points per game. Purdue's only scored 1 touchdown on that defense, so over the first 6 games of the season, they've only given up 4 scores. Brees, with that attempt, the new Purdue record 61 drives, making 62 with that completion across the way to Randall Lane.
Well, here's some of the plays that you made reference to, Joel. First of all, a great interception in the end zone by Mike Eccles as he lays out, cuts in front of the receiver, makes his catch, and certainly the biggest play of the game, tied at 17. Jamar Fletcher makes that pick. And then John Favre twice, nice underneath blockers, number 96 for Wisconsin, to make 4th down conversions nil for the Purdue Boilermakers.
And both those interceptions by the cornerbacks and both redshirt freshmen coming in the second half. Purdue continued to move the football, but couldn't finish off their drive. Brees on 3rd and about 3. Looking back over the middle. He's got the first down, and Lane's got more. Lane up to the 47. They need a quick score. All 3 timeouts, don't forget, still remaining for the Boilermakers.
Well, I'm thinking here too, Joel, now they've got to go back to the no huddle. They've got to go back to the no huddle.
They're doing exactly that. Personnel quickly coming in.
Brees once again buys time and throws back against his body. Everybody says not to do that, but he's able to complete it. And as you mentioned, Lane with a nice run after the catch, setting him up near midfield.
Brees over the middle again with crossing pattern. Qualification to Vinny Southern with his first grab of the night, the sophomore from West Palm Beach, Florida. He's one of the fastest on the team. They try to use him on gadget plays, reverses.
4 yards on the pass completion.
We haven't seen the bubble screen at all, though, Purdue, which they used so effectively last year, the teams.
Yeah, but at this point, it's not going to be effective simply because of the fact that they're in the coverage mode now. This is where they've got to get the ball downfield.
2nd, 6, almost 7. Batted down in front, taking the play.
Mueller.
Yes.
Inevitably, what happens is that if you are not getting to the quarterback, if you're actually getting stuffed at the line of scrimmage, you've got a better angle to bat the pass down. Take a look right here in the middle. He's able to get up, even though he didn't get much of a pass rush, and get a hand on the ball.
And that's what the defensive coordinator Cosgrove had said to the man at the start of the second half. Don't forget, get up there. He's only 6'1". Sam Miller was at 6'5", 265, the sophomore from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. He timed it perfectly, as you mentioned, didn't have penetration. So now 3rd. Called it about 6, almost 7. Holding up for Brees. Now he's flushed out. Touch pass. Knocked away by the free safety, Jason Doring.
Jason Doring!
He tried to get it over to Eric Haddad. No doubt about this 4th and 6.
Trying to buy time. He floats to his left, but let's give Wisconsin credit. Their secondary now certainly more confident now with a 2-touchdown lead. Trying to come back and make the catch, but Doring right there bats it down. He was smart. So many times, if you're not quite there, don't try for an interception. Just get your arms in the way and get a piece of it.
The ball game for Purdue with only 6:17 left. 4th and 6. Outside of the 49 of the Badgers. Those are 2 on 4 down drives tonight. Oh, great for Brees. And the rifle over the middle, and he's got the first down to who else but Randall Lane. He's got to be approaching close to 20 grabs so far this evening. Making 16 to be exact for 157. But what protection for Drew Brees.
Really was. One of the things that Kevin Cosgrove has been doing here in this particular drive is saying, okay, we're going to put some people downfield to cover. Well, that's all well and good, but if the quarterback has that much time to throw, he can look at his secondary, 3rd, 4th receivers.
Brees on the dump off underneath. slipping down, but good yardage for Daniels by making Isaac Jones.
Well, 6 and 8 looks an awful lot like I made that mistake earlier. Here's the situation now down about the 26-yard line. They need here to get it in the end zone within the next minute and a half to realistically have a shot.
2 to each second. He's looking at 7 and 2. He's got a first down to Gabe Cox. It's inside the 20 at the 19.
Good idea by Cox to get out of bounds. Here's a time here where Wisconsin might want to think about coming with a blitz to shake things up. They've been pretty vanilla in their coverage, and has been said over and over again, a prevent defense, all that does is prevent you from winning sometimes. So I want to shake things up a little bit, come with somebody off the corner.
Really hard to believe, though, the way Purdue has moved the ball, especially in the second half, 478 yards overall. They've been shut out in the second 30 minutes of play. Underneath, the other tailback, Condre Johnson. And the redshirt freshman has a first down and make it just about first and goal. Yes, right on the 10, down to the sideline. Dean?
You'll notice that plays are sent in, either shuttled in with players or waggled in from the sideline with a backup quarterback. And many times, Drew Brees will look to his wrist and only signal to his wide receivers what it is. So they'll look to their wrist to get their plays. It's still very, very loud, as you can now hear the crowd coming up.
Well, they're second and short. Forget about the first and goal. They still need another yard from the 10. Brees wanted to slant. Finally over the middle. Drop. Was it intercepted?
Oh, boy.
Yes. It's a grab for Bobby Myers, the reserve defensive back. Fifth turnover, 4th interception.
Well, this is certainly not Brees' fault. He puts the ball right on the hands of Daniels. He's a little bit fooled. Excuse me, it wasn't Daniels, it was Isaac Jones. Maybe the timing was a little bit off, but he's got to come up with that catch. Then it becomes a pop-up, and Myers gets the pick.
Was it a trap, though?
Well, the official at the back of the end zone was quick to say that it was an interception. Get a chance to take another look at it. Here's the pop-up. There's the ball. Oh, that ricochet. That's definitely incomplete. You're right.
Trap all the way. So the Badgers have everything working their way, and they take over their own 20, just trying to run out the clock now with big Ron Dayne. He wants to stay in bounds. Does exactly that. Good move to the 28. He could have taken it to the boundary, but he didn't. Got a run with 5:05 remaining.
Johnson with the stop. No matter what they got.
Defense.
Remember, that was last year. That was part of the criticism. Only 8 interceptions on the entire year. And coming into this game, really, even the coaches of Wisconsin conceded the fact that the weakness on their team had been in the secondary. Well, certainly the secondary's got to be feeling pretty good about themselves tonight with 4 very crucial picks.
They have 11 interceptions on the season, as opposed to the number you were talking about, 8 for the 13 games last year. Right here for the quarterback, but better be lucky as well. And they've got some great deflections. Dayne, taking the linebacker with him, Willie Fells wouldn't let go. But he's got a first down for Ron Dayne. And now he can pass some stats here against the entire defense.
Well, he looks a little tired himself there. You know, he reminds me a little bit. Remember, I'm sure arcades still have it. Remember the game Pac-Man? You know how the little guy ate up all the little things. Here's a situation where Dayne is like that, eating up the yards. Now over 100 yards, 29 carries for 114 yards. You know, Barry Alvarez made a very good point regarding Dayne. And that is, he feels like his stock of the pros has gone up this year, despite the fact that his numbers may not be as impressive as he was in the freshman, because he's proven that he can play, and he's not 100%.
And he also says he's a complete player now. He wasn't a blocker before. He didn't use a little things to sell fakes. Dayne has gone in that direction and worked harder. But at the same time, Barry Alvarez also said he's not a first or a second round pick. Then he ought to think twice about coming out early. He's even thinking about it now. And on the other side, the entire offensive line, except for Gibson, on the right tackle is coming back next year. So a real healthy situation for Dayne to stick around for his senior season. They lead it by 14.
Check out today's Power Through moment presented by Alliant Energy.
Looking at 7 and 8. You can see it coming. Jamal Fletcher tripped over the distance to the 15 to the 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin.
That's today's Power Through moment, presented by Alliant Energy. A special thanks to Alliant Energy for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
In these challenging, uncertain, uncharted times, you stand strong. No matter the conditions you face, you get the job done. You are the backbone of our communities.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. WEAbenefits.com.
Fans, keep tuning in and enjoy a classic fifth quarter presented by American Family Insurance.
That's high style in Madtown. 3:55 left, 14-point lead for the Badgers.
Do you refer to that as a chapeau?
I don't think so. It's not exactly a beret. Second and about 5, almost 6. Dayne, almost bobbling the handoff. Inbounds at the 50. He's got a first down. And we check in again with Dean Blevins. Dean?
Well, guys, I've been fortunate enough to go to almost every stadium around the country. These fans at Wisconsin are about the most supportive fans I have ever seen. And it isn't only in football. Tonight they have 78,000 here. Take a look at the other sports. And the one that jumps out at me, women's basketball. They average 10,455 fans a game. Wisconsin, the only school with 4 sports in the top 25 in attendance. They are unbelievable.
Loyalty, the byword. We're looking at it right now. They moved to the new Kohl Center just after the first of last year. Hockey, women's basketball, football, men's basketball ranking 22nd. Great crowd year-round.
Ron Dayne, the ball carrier.
But they want to be inside. You know, it's a little cold in here.
Well, don't you think the Dean's a little early with the black leather gloves? Hey, what's happening, man? Did you just fly in from Key West? It's not that cold.
Blevins taking grief, still with 3:17 left in the contest. We'll come right back to Madison.
Get the latest updates about the Badgers each week on the Wisconsin Happy Hour radio show, presented by the Great Dane Pub and Brewery. Tune in each Thursday night at 6 for news, insight, and more. Listen in the Madison area on News Talk 1310 WIBA AM, throughout Wisconsin on the Badger Radio Network, or wherever you are on the free iHeartRadio app.
Hard work, sweat, knowledge in your own 2 hands. These are the tools that build Wisconsin. Leave your mark on the real world with 0 debt and higher pay. All from day one. It's time to do work that works for you. Learn more at buildingwisconsintogether.com.
Injured? You need a team you can trust. Call Gruber Law Offices today, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. One call, that's all.
It's time to guess the attendance, presented by Temperature Systems. Do you remember the attendance from today's Dream Season game? Thanks for playing Guess the Attendance, presented by Temperature Systems. A special thanks to Temperature Systems for their support of the Wisconsin Badgers.
We just talked about the loyalty factor on this perfect night in Madison. No one has left this ballpark. They're waiting for a slice of that and a slice of Wisconsin cheese, obviously.
You know, it's amazing how you make those clever metaphors. I'm impressed.
3rd and long. It'll be Dayne again with better than 130 yards. twice about that, Mike.
And Dayne was frustrated because, boy, did he have some open AstroTurf in front of him. But Samuel did the right thing. At this point, there's no point in taking any chances. Jason Lorzell in with the big stick. Dayne had a lot of open room.
Wisconsin Badgers squad is one very interesting 6-0 team at the conclusion of this evening, and you'd have to think they'll hang on with 2.5 left of the game clock running, and Purdue can't stop it as they get ready to go back because they don't have a lot offensively. They don't try to trick you either. They just try to beat you up a little bit.
But one of the things that they do so well, and of course it won't up this time, but in games that are decided by 4 points or less the last 2 years, it's 6-0. So the idea of staying close with them and beating them in the fourth quarter just doesn't wash. You got to get a lead on these people.
And that was a sore spot when they were down going into the fourth quarter prior to Barry Alvarez arriving. So National Car Rental players became National Car Rental. Black Billy $1,000 for each year's general scholarship fund. On behalf of those athletes, Daniels comes up with the catch. And what a night for Fletcher, because he did make the mistake. He was offside on a field goal attempt in a very tight affair at that time. And Lane, 16 catches. He's got 38 on the season. That Purdue is going to fall to 3-3. Daniels once again.
But Brees now with his 73rd attempt, rather. That's a Big Ten record. He'll certainly add to that in this particular drive. And at the end of the game, he will have some amazing statistics in terms of completions, yards, and attempts. Those interceptions are big.
What about that night we had Tim Couch, Kentucky at Arkansas. He threw for 499, and he had 66 attempts. We've seen some incredible quarterbacks this year. Is it 67? Sight for violation. Brees out of the gun. On the boundary.
Brees pass complete to Daniel.
Timeouts left. Purdue can punch it in.
Back off, just
an
in case.
onside kick. Down by 2 touchdowns. But they've not been able to score in the second half yet. They're tied at 17 in the intermission. And they're out of timeouts. So any catch inbounds, it's not a first down. It's going to roll. That's Chris Daniels, the 3rd straight time. 2nd and 3 for Brees. He does show incredible poise for Joe Tiller. Ball batted down in the middle of the pile. Trying for the crossing pattern. He is looking for Isaac Jones, and what's coming up for the Boilermakers. We talked about those 2 tough losses. Third and 3.
Wow, nice
and a great
catch.
grab by our player of the game, our National Cardinal player of the game, Randall Lane, with his 17th reception.
And that was the 51st completion. That's right, 51st completion for Drew Brees, which now is also another Big Ten record. 51 out of 77.
And let's remind everybody, Crabtree had 70-plus yards on the ground. Hard to believe they had a running back with almost 100 yards as well. Brees in trouble. Getting Sutherland can't get to the sideline. That'll take him well inside of a minute before the next snap. Coming up next on Reduce NFL Tonight with Mark Malone. News and information as we get ready for the matchup tomorrow in the NFL. The completion down to 15 and Lane again with his 18th reception. That'll stop the clock with the first down and the movement of the chains with 38 seconds left.
As strange as it may seem here, Joel, this is in the process here, and that's another passing attempt. I think this might be the NCAA record. We're approaching 80. If I'm not mistaken, I'm guessing right now in the back of my head, I think Matt Vogler for TCU had 79. I'm guessing. I could be wrong, but we're looking it up.
The last completion was the 79th for Brees.
But he just spiked the ball, so that counts as an attempt, right?
On top of the situation, 80.
Well, we're checking, but I'm thinking that has to be an NCAA record for a single game in attempts, doesn't it?
53 of 80. By the way, I get the feeling his arm isn't tired. It'll be 7 and 10 for the 15. Final 35. He's got to get into the end zone. The reception's there. They can stand up. The wide receiver, Drew Brees. He's got the first and goal with 2. They've got to mark the ball in the proper place to begin with. And then we'll have a bad scramble for the onside kick if they can get it in the end zone. 27 seconds left. Make it 26 now. 14-point lead for Wisconsin. And the Boilermakers had so many opportunities tonight. 5 turnovers. A bad break on that call to the end zone that was clearly a trap.
But once again, still, there was a situation where they're down 2 touchdowns. And I'm not, who knows what would have happened. It was a bad call. But, those the 2 interceptions, the one in the end zone, and, of course, the one to Fletcher, the most costly, certainly.
7 and goal, 26 seconds remaining. Brees over the corner, wide open. Touchdown, Chris Daniels. 22 seconds left. They had a minute left and could get the onside kick.
Now here's an interesting situation, though, Joel. Here are the 80-plus attempts. All right, the 400, nearly 500 yards in passing. And yet how many touchdowns has Purdue scored? It's the second one, right?
Only the second
touchdown. So again, Wisconsin may bend an awful lot. They haven't broken much.
Point after. Up and good for Travis Dorff. We do have a new NCAA record.
Purdue, 24.
79 was the old record. It's up to 83 and still counting.
But who? A lot of time to throw here for Brees. Wisconsin finally said, you know what? I think we're a little bit out of gas. Buys time in the corner. There's just nobody there. Catch is made. 6 points, albeit a little too late. And it's interesting, though, being a head coach right to the end. It's like, come on. Okay, the game's won, but why do we want to give up another touchdown? That's the face of a former defensive coordinator.
And a defensive player in his playing days at Nebraska.
Matt Vogler with the old record at 79. Oh, man, I feel good. I just remembered that one. I thought it was slipping. Maybe too many diet sodas, but it was there.
We expect a lot from you. You always come through.
I want to rise to the occasion for you, Joel.
So Drew Brees with 83. We all set in on a new NCAA record, and it took them 29 and a half minutes to get their first points of the second half. So many wasted opportunities for the Joe Tiller squad.
Just think, if they had gone to no huddle the whole game, he might have thrown 100.
Triple digits in the pass department. Not too far down the road.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
The onside kick coming. Can they get it? They get the big second half. And it's grabbed by Wisconsin.
It was an incredible celebration. I do remember State Street was packed. It was like a parade. It was like a pep rally, a celebration of what had just happened. At the time, no one knew the historical significance of what had happened. It was just a huge win on campus. No one knew that Drew Brees was going to go on to have a Hall of Fame career, or that we were going to go on to win not 1 Rose Bowl, but 2. But in the moment, it was powerful, and it brought out the best in our Badger fans, and it brought out the best in our players. And I'll just say that night was one of a great celebration.
Undefeated. Nebraska lost earlier today. Undefeated, taking it down. Nebraska losing to Texas A&M. Ohio State prevailed easily in the Big 12 earlier today at Illinois. And Wisconsin 6-0 with a 7-point win over the Boilermakers of Purdue.
Just a great college football game, an incredible atmosphere that night in 1998 at Camp Randall Stadium as the Badgers defeat the Purdue Boilermakers 31-24. And Mike, Jamar Fletcher, I know you talked to him, and again, we remind folks he now goes by Jamar Israel. But the thing to Jamar in that pick six, that was one of several. I mean, in the big games, the big moments, Wisconsin's first and only Thorpe Award winner, he just came up big time after time.
Matt, in talking to Jamar this week, he still says that pick against Drew Brees, the pick six, put him on the map because finally people nationally were starting to recognize that he could play a little D. Came out of St. Louis as a prep quarterback, weighed about 150 pounds, 155 pounds, but great instincts for the ball. He wound up with 21 career interceptions here. Jimmy Leonard wound up tying him for the all-time lead. And 5 times he took picks to the end zone. He was uncanny in his ability to convert defense into offense. Big plays were synonymous with Jamar.
Yeah, he proved it again in the Rose Bowl after that 1998 season with a pick 6 against Cade McNown, the quarterback for UCLA. He did it to Brees the following year in West Lafayette. Jamar just made the big plays when they absolutely had to be made, and certainly he did that night in October of 1998. The Badgers are a winner, 31-24. Time now for the 5th quarter, presented by American Family Insurance.